Everybody remember to speak up and do your drills. The drills that make you eloquent.
What's happening?
Hello, and welcome all to MultiTap Theatre. The following is an entertainment show with special focus on the modern and retro gaming eras. Explicit language and content is utilized for emphasis and flourish, so please monitor children's listening. Yes, listener discretion is most gravely advised. The hosts welcome all audiences and encourage audience participation in most forms. Any visual or oral resemblance to any person living, famous, or deceased is strictly intentional. And now, for your listening pleasure, MultiTap Theatre, podcast.
Alright, let's hit it off.
Let's head it off. Welcome to the theatre, everybody. This is the MultiTap podcast theatre. That's confusing. We don't.
No, it's fine.
You asked
Welcome to
us,
MultiTap, everyone.
you asked us one time if we thought it should be MultiTap Podcast and MultiTap Theater, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And we all said podcast.
It's like, yeah. And I keep doing that. I don't know why. I
It's
keep bringing
been
theater. Is it because I choose? I just
That's
can't let
okay.
it die
Hey,
right
you're-
here in the
You
back of
do
my...
all the editing, and
You're the
one
captain
who
of
records
this
like.
shit.
So I edit all this out and be like, they'll never know.
Yeah.
Of course it's MultiTap theatre, you
There's
fools.
no evidence. It's all hearsay. Alright,
Anyways,
yeah.
my name is Justin. This way.
No one knows what direction you're pointing.
No, but you do, and that's the important
All
part.
right, this way's Aaron.
I have a question for you.
Ask away.
Pitfall or Prince of Persia?
Originals?
Yes.
Like super originals, like Atari,
Sure.
or like Super Nintendo Pitfall, Joe.
No, originals.
Pitfall.
Okay. I
I'd say
accept that.
Pitfall. I love that. When you're rolling.
That was good.
And scorpions will kill you. Don't touch them.
Don't touch those, and don't fall
Don't do anything.
in the pits. That's
Pit.
kind of the name. That's the name
Fall.
of the game.
That's the biggest rules.
Yeah.
In Witterson's order,
Irene.
Pitfall
Before-
or Prince of Persia.
I don't really remember either of them.
Mm.
I'm gonna say Prince of Persia
Okay.
because I think it was a little more involved.
Good jump.
It's definitely more.
Without a
There was,
Involved.
yeah. They kept making Prince of Persia.
Yes,
They
they
can make
did.
it Pitfall.
Did they?
You got
How many
Pitfall,
pitfalls
you got
did they
Super
have?
Pitfall, you
Right.
got Pitfall the Mayan Adventure on everything 16-bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Really?
Genesis and Super Nintendo, that's everything 16-bit.
I didn't play it. I thought they stopped at
They
Super
made Pitfall
Pitfall.
for Game Gear, they made Pitfall for Game Boy.
Has there been a shitty Disney Pitfall movie?
No.
No.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, he was. He was
In
he was-
Pitfall.
he was
I never
Pitfall
saw
Joe.
that movie, but did you know that movie was has the record for the most expensive video game movie ever?
That's not surprising.
What a good use.
It actually made money. Like it didn't flop.
That's Well, I mean, it's a Disney movie. A lot of people kind of just.
To be fair, it was a
That's that
shitty
way.
Disney movie,
Never
though.
saw it.
It wasn't
I
great.
think that's the point when Jake Gyllenhaal just got, like, he went from hot to like that's kind of gross. Now.
He was like,
hot in that movie, isn't he all
He-
buff?
he went from,
Buff.
oh
And
hey, I was
doing
Donnie
free running?
Darko. I was
Yeah,
Donnie
he was
Darko,
hot
and
in
then
Donnie Darko,
and then straight
then-
into, oh hey, I'm the Prince of Persia now.
Yeah.
Fucking guy.
One time.
He's also End of Watch.
He's also Prince of Steroids in that movie. He's too much.
All right.
Prince of Steroids.
So on that one, change your answer to Pitfall.
No, it's still Prince of Persia.
Stands by it.
All right.
I respect that.
Witterson's.
Chris, Pitfall for days.
Okay.
Pitfall's the shit. Good
Interesting. Yeah.
The thing that is, oh no, when you get on, because it's hella epic when you jump on the line and you swing and it plays
Right. In my head, though, when you do it, it always goes, "Ba-dum-dum," and then,
No, but see, so the original Prince of Persia, you had to have a computer. Because the original
Mhm.
Prince of Persia was a computer-only game.
I
And,
did have a computer. Oh,
I didn't have a computer
yeah.
I didn't have a computer until I was an adult.
days.
I didn't play any computer games as a kid, really.
You
That's
go
why I have
back.
no affinity towards like Aaron's. Like when you talk about old like Septerra Core and stuff like that. Like, I never got
Yeah.
to play those. Although I know
That one's on my backlog.
I know what Septerra Core is. I never had a computer that could run it.
You gotta play that shit.
I'm gonna
Wait, so you didn't
Just take
do
your
all
word.
the LucasArts stuff like Grim Fandango
yeah, none of
and
it. I've never played Grim Fandango. Never had a PC until I got a PC
Day of
when
the
Final
Tentacle and
Fantasy
Monkey
11 came
Island?
out because
None
I
of
was
it.
such a hardcore Final Fantasy fan.
right.
And I was like, I'll pay to play this game because it's not on PS2 yet, and so yeah, PC was built for Final Fantasy 11, regrettably.
Regrettably.
Yeah.
It's
But anyway,
it is what it is.
Get to get your morsels snatched by like a toucan or whatever the fuck.
it was good to play that game as your first MMO because you learn what an
morsels.
MMO should not be. Final Fantasy 11 is. Anyway, let's
Yeah.
move on.
Okay. I already announced myself, which is foolish, but I'm Justin, and I also... Okay, this is hard, because I choose Pitfall, but I like where Prince of Persia went. Like, the new Prince of Persia
We're-
that was just Prince of Persia, not Forgotten Sands, was a really good
Pitfall.
game.
Prince of
But
Persia,
we're going originals.
The Sands of Time.
No.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say
Prince of Persia, just the one where you have...
Gyllenhaal.
Elika.
Oh, the 2009 reboot, dude.
Just
you-
called Prince of
do
Persia.
you like
was
that game?
That was an amazing game.
I love that game, dude. I'm a
Yes!
I'm an advocate. I bought that shit for $60 when it came out. The battle system in that game was so underrated. I love
It
the battle
was.
system
And the
in that
story was fairly good.
It
If they
was
would have
beautiful.
finished it, my dick would have remained rock hard.
Hold on, there was another reboot of it.
Yeah, after
Yes.
after the Gyllenhaal one, which is called Forgotten Sands, right?
Yeah.
They made
Yes.
Prince of Persia as a reboot. Nolan North did the voice for
It's not surprising.
the prince. It's not even trying. It's literally just his normal voice. And that game was great. Had a cool dynamic with Ella, with the girl that you're following.
Yeah.
You're free running, you're parkouring.
She helps
everywhere.
you around. She you
Good level
parkour, and then she
design.
gives you an extra jump because she has a little magic. So she goes
Game had a cool
boosts
art
you a
style.
little bit.
Had a very unique battle system. It's super pretty. But
a little repetitive at parts, but I didn't even care.
It wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect.
I don't think it got hated on. I don't think it was quite deserved, but
I really liked it.
yeah, I liked it too. I have it on PS3 and Steam. Take that.
Damn. I have Xbox 360 and that's it.
I'm just gonna say, Pitfall became Uncharted. That's what happened.
Okay.
That's why it doesn't have a million
Oh
updates.
man, I just beat Uncharted 2.
You are
by the
now
way, like a couple days
Indiana
ago.
Jones 2: The Revenge of the Earth.
Uncharted.
You
is
are
the good Indiana Jones
And
game
Tomb
that
Raider.
we never got.
essentially.
And Tomb Raider.
So, and I like the newest Tomb Raider. That's good. I never got along with him back in the day, but I played him like an idiot.
Oh.
But yeah. That was it. That was a
That's the
little. I
intro.
like starting with a quiz. I've been trying to do that more recently. I just try to come up with something and ask because I like it.
You should do it every time.
Every time, I'll do it every time. I'm a creature of habit.
Every time.
Make sure you don't not.
Don't make sure you don't not.
Yeah, make sure you don't not.
I have a master's in double negatives. Listener mail is the next thing, and it's actually probably the biggest thing on our agenda. Ben, who I believe on this show, he writes into Fistful all the time, but he has he done this before?
I think he has.
He has written into us, Ben.
I feel like it.
We have received like
Possibly.
5 listener mail, and you can't remember one guy who did it.
I know.
Who did it a second
I
time.
keep, well, because was it longer ago than yesterday? But no. The saddest memory.
What's that?
It's the memory of a
By
peacock, or
definition.
one of those animals that doesn't remember shit.
Goldfish?
Goldfish, maybe. Elephant. I think elephant's the opposite.
Goldfish.
Elephant remembers
Yeah,
everything.
they're supposed to never
Peacock, flamingo,
Golden peacocks.
something.
Peacock fish.
Golden peacock is something you have to pay extra for. Anyways, sorry, Ben. Ben's from Australia. He says on the Facebooks that in this show there is a Fred Durst reference for every episode,
Much to my dismay.
much to Chris's dismay. And then there's a hashtag. I do decree it.
I like that hashtag.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite hashtag.
We need to make that one popular. We need to
Australia.
It's gotta-
MultiTap's gone international.
When we start making multi-tap T-shirts, it's the hashtag I do decree it on the back.
I do decree.
He's helping us brand this. In response to the linguistics survey, was that Ben as well? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Ben, you're all over this. Although, I don't like what you say next,
Uh-oh.
because in response to the linguistics survey, he writes back with a cho-ko-bo, and he says, you can't screw it up.
We told you that because you can't.
I know you told me that, and I'm not going to listen to Ben anymore than I listen to you.
But we have proof. He provided the
He
actual
provides-
Japanese.
He did.
text
This is
for it.
actually
That literally says Chiokobo.
Chiokobo. I'm going
Yeah.
to start calling it that.
Well, technically
Yeah.
it's Cho,
Right.
Yeah.
Chi, and Yo.
There's Chi
Yeah,
and Yo together.
Chi-yo.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, that's actually fairly impressive. But I don't like how the script looks on here because it's not hand painted. Because I'm stupid.
Well, that's not.
I'm an elitist.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not. Flacco_Jones. I think I should just read it as Flacco Jones, probably. Flacco Jones from Twitter. It's our first Twitter, I think, right in. Was got a kick out of hearing some actual love for my favorite game, Chrono Cross.
Yes.
I know.
Flacco, thank you. Internet high five.
You're good.
I
Two
love
internet
Chrono
high
Cross,
fives.
man. It gets hated on too.
Scared the dickens out of your cat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
She's gonna be okay.
Internet high fives are not good for kittens.
Eh.
Oh, I think also Flacco Jones, if I remember his picture right, is no shit, not his name, not Mr. Drippy. The guy from Ni no Kuni.
Mr. Drippy.
Is it Mr. It is Mr. Drippy. Thanks, brain.
He loves Ni no Kuni also.
He does love some Ni no Kuni. Oh, do you know Flacco?
I do.
I see.
He's a friend,
We all know everybody who writes it.
pretty much.
It's-
Yeah.
We don't know Ben, right?
I
From
know Ben,
Australia?
yeah.
Oh, you son of a...
Personally.
You're so
We had a
cold.
luncheon one time. It was pulled
Oh,
pork. It was
awesome.
fucking delicious, is what it was.
Luncheon.
Nothing Australian about it. It was just good old pulled pork,
Great.
barbecue
Good old
style.
Wait, he
Eating
came
yards.
here and you guys. hung
It's a
out?
lie. It's a big lie
Wow.
story. Something I wish would have happened though, because Ben's pretty cool.
He
I would eat
seems-
pulled pork with anybody.
Well, he's Australian, so.
Yeah. He just said something cool, and I'd be like, "How's your pulled pork?" I don't know. we have
Gently.
we have a gigantic mail from one of my mates, and he begins with, "Hi, multi-tappers. I was racked with game manual nostalgia, so I guess in response to our bringing it back on the multi-tap." Game manual nostalgia, and was reminded of my favorite and probably the best game manual. We might debate this. Fallout for PC, as it had everything. He might be right on this one too, because I had this. I might actually still have that manual somewhere. It was a ring-bound book styled like a survival guide for a survival game. Had real practical themed recipes. Had a scientific breakdown of how nuclear detonation functions and what it would do to a human body. Its game breakdown featured every function and feature in the game, including perks and equipment, and hopefully the control panel, because I remember that being a little... Dang! You switchblade us in the middle of listener mail?
Maybe.
Don't do it. Well, I'm scared.
Don't blame me, Ben.
Exit stage left, don't cut me. The manual for this game is somewhere, and it would be near the top of my list of things I would hate to lose. I also reminded of being a kid and renting games. For a while, at least, they would put the manual in the game, which is a double-edged sword. Sometimes you would rent a game without a manual and be unable to figure out some game-changing controls. Not if it was any good game, though. Like, usually,
Yeah.
the controls should be fairly
if you grabbed,
self-explanatory.
like,
Or, like, have a tutorial on
If
it.
you had like a 3-button controller and you picked up Samurai Showdown or
Right.
like Street Fighter, are you gonna know to press start? You're just
Probably.
gonna be like, punches.
Yeah, the
Right.
game never tells you to press start to
Use your
switch
punch
to
buttons.
kicks.
That's true.
I was just watching a video where they were talking about how Super Mario Brothers was so intuitive that you wouldn't need a manual.
Right.
Like the way they designed it was like you would know what to
You
do.
only have this way to go and
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
button to
Got
push.
2 buttons.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
So that was how they designed that? Was that it was so easy anybody could play it?
Exactly.
Genius. Dark
Yeah.
Souls.
If it's moving, don't touch it.
Is that
Unless
thing
it
on
look-
fire? Do I press A? Or?
Well, they logically they tell you, like, they train you how to play it just through level design. You know, like,
Right.
Yeah.
It explains itself, like what's his name said for Mega Man.
exactly like
Egoraptor.
Egoraptor, yeah. It's just good design.
It was. I've lost my freaking spot. No, I derailed myself. Oh, however, more than once I would forget to put the manual back in the box, and it would hang out in my room like a token to remember the game times that I had. Corey, you fucking ruined it for everybody, because now the game manual is gone,
He
and
wouldn't
it's your
even,
fault.
Like, return it?
I guess
wouldn't
not.
Be like, hey, sorry, forgot to put
He
this
says he
in."
left it as a token in his room. It would just like hang out, and
Happy
he would remember it
accidents.
as great times as the game he played. Happy accidents, hearts on fire. There was one time in particular that I rented Putty for SNES. Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know it.
Super putty.
He said it didn't work. He had to return it and get something else, but later he found that he had kept the manual. He spent way too much time reading the manual, wishing that he could have played the game.
It was
because-
called Putty?
Well,
Putty,
not-
yeah, I guess.
It was called Super Putty on the Super Nintendo. It was
Okay.
called Putty originally, and they ported it to Super Nintendo, and then Super Putty.
He probably had
I
Super
remember the
Mario.
name. No
Was
idea
it
what
just
the
a
game was.
jar of putty?
No,
No.
the character is just a blue blob.
He explains it here in a sec, because you could stretch and flatten and absorb, and that was what like made him
It's
want to
Putty.
play the game he yearned after it, and then he never got a workable copy, I suppose. For all I know, the game sucked, and I have no interest now. But that manual shaped my
It didn't
childhood.
suck. You had fun playing it, right?
He never got to play it
Oh,
because it was
shit.
broken.
He had fun imaginary
Gotcha.
in it.
From Corey, and then P.S. I think this one's to you. I wouldn't have had to stomp all those zombies if the game didn't keep using that reanimation mechanic, Aaron.
It did it a couple times. I understand why you did it. I was just like,
What game?
in Dead Space.
Oh.
The critters that climb out and get in the monster, and the monster would get up, and you'd be like, shit, these fucking bodies are now all monsters. You don't have to stomp everybody. It's safe to stomp everybody. But I had a gun that floated buzzsaws at my will and command. I did not fear bodies anymore.
That's true. He says because of it, he too was shaped to be frugal with his ammo and strategies from earlier survival horror games like Resident Evil. You think I wasn't bored meticulously ensuring those Blackwing bastards didn't have a place to shove their ovipositors? I love you. So that was to you.
Hearts.
Hearts, Corey. And then he also graciously included a PDF for the Fallout game manual. It says feel free to print it out on some high quality paper and bind that shit. So we could. You have the Fallout. I probably still have it somewhere though. It was good.
That was good.
That was the end. That was the last thing we had. But we have so much listener mail. I'm actually riding high right now.
Hooray!
It's cloud nine for me. Thanks, fellas. Oh, you guys are some really good sports. And followed up by Irene's no trivia this week with a sad face. There is. I like our trivia.
I do too, and I'm sad that we don't have trivia this week.
Next week.
Hopefully.
Or next 2 weeks. Whenever we release the next one. But next one we'll have a trivia ready. I'll make sure of it.
Episode 8 will have trivia back.
Episode 8, watch for the return of the trivs.
Who wants to do trivia?
We need to re-pick up where we left off.
I just did it.
I'll make
So
questions.
either I need to do it or you need to do it.
The questions?
Yes.
Okay.
And then they play. And then I've forgotten the rotation
I
after
think
that.
Chris hasn't done it yet.
You haven't played? You played.
No,
No,
I
he hasn't.
played.
You played against
I
me.
did make it. I made the Squaresoft one.
He
Ah.
did.
He totally did.
Oh my god, have we done
I
a
think
full
it's up
circle?
to me, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
You were the
I
first to
think
do it,
it's
and we were
first,
like,
yeah.
ice taco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, is it?
We don't have to go in any specific.
Oh, because
That's what
you
I'm
just,
saying,
you're
like,
right.
after
we don't.
now.
Yeah, we don't have to go in an
If
order.
anybody wants
Oh, no,
to
but
do
we
it.
have completed the cycle now,
We
right?
have.
Just now.
Everybody's made one.
Anytime
So-
we have a guest, they must either come with trivia or prepare to fight.
Naked.
Right.
Mhm.
It's the first night. This sweet ham-fisted Sigu brought to you by Justin. We're moving over to top 3 because we're done with the listener mails.
Oh my.
Gaspings, but it's yours, Irene.
Yeah, it is.
I can't just point and say yours on the radio when you're.
Yes, you can. You wait for someone to speak up.
Yeah.
Top 3 is yours.
Get
Okay.
it? It's like Captain Planet.
I,
That was that reference.
I see what I did there. Okay, so I guess we're gonna do top
glad that you
3
say
best
that.
endings for video games, and I think
do
that's
that.
pretty self-explanatory. I don't think anyone's like, what does that mean?
No.
So I'm gonna start with Chris because I don't want to go first. So.
Would you like
Nice.
to give all 3, or do you want to do one and go around?
I like the one and around, right?
One in the round. Okay.
I
That
like
way
that.
you know when someone uses one of yours, and you're not on the spot like, fuck.
You're
Now I have to
dicks.
think of 2 because he just did 2 of them.
Right.
Okay, so I can tell you immediately that my favorite ending is the ending to Final Fantasy VIII.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I liked Final Fantasy VIII's ending.
Because you like the ballroom scene.
Well, that wasn't in the ending.
Very symbolic. Wasn't it? It was the last,
No.
or was
The
it
ballroom
credits?
scene? Well,
Was
there.
it?
I mean, when the credits are rolling, you're talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, God, they're talking about the dance.
No.
Okay. But, no, that I like that ending so much when I was, how old was I when that game came out? I was 16 when that game came out. And,
It was just a baby.
I was just a baby.
Mm.
Sweet 60.
Sweet baby.
No, but I like that ending so much that I hooked a VCR up to my TV and recorded that ending so I could watch it anytime I wanted.
Damn.
And I
And-
love that
and
ending.
then
Not
YouTube
only,
got invented.
not only, well, this is before. This is 99.
Right, I mean,
there was no YouTube. And
Just after.
and I didn't have an internet, but I didn't have a computer and internet back then anyway.
Was that
but
the first thing you did when you got YouTube? You're like, ugh, Final Fantasy VIII ending. Like,
that
so
could
you
be
didn't
a
have
whole.
to-
That could be a whole other subject. But yeah, when I found out about YouTube, I started watching all types of video game content. Like,
Right.
I don't have to even have to play games anymore. Just watch the endings.
Pretty much.
This guy playing an emulator of Super Metroid. I can just watch it while I watch it.
But no, I really liked that ending. I thought it was very satisfying. It's so long. It was very the music. There was a song at the ending called "Eyes on Me"
Right.
by Faye Wong,
Right.
and that song for a long time was like my favorite song.
Doesn't that play while they're in space also?
It does.
Yeah.
Go to
Um,
space.
Yeah, there's hella space.
There's so much space.
I didn't get that far enough of it. So I got lost when they let me fly the garden.
Spoiler.
Go into space like you did in 7, like with you went to
You're in a
space with
fucking
Ragnarok,
space
right?
suit. There's a whole cinematic where Renault's in a space suit.
You have to
Yeah,
save
and it was
somebody
cool, too,
from
but
something.
The cinema, I remember Renault's face upside down, the necklace thing falls down. But like anyway, satisfying
Sure.
in that song. And then the credits has that like Justin was saying, the scene that's like it's like home footage of what they're doing.
Zell
like
chokes
this,
himself on a hot dog.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's just
Of course
satisfying.
he
Like
does.
you watch
Right.
it the whole time, you're smiling.
It's very,
Damn, good stuff.
mm,
Good
well,
stuff.
very indicative of Zell.
Indicative.
Whoa.
Dickery doo
That's
of
the
Zell.
first. Who's next? Justin?
Me. I'm gonna take it before anybody else does, and some people disagree with me on it. But I'll say Bioshock Infinite
Bioshock Infinite?
because I'm a bastard. Because I'm like a.
Why would people disagree?
Some people don't really like it.
The ending for Bioshock Infinite to me was the best part of the game. It all
It
came
was
together.
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
like
think
that
the
a
ending
lot.
was really good for me because it was another beginning. I think when things end, you don't like end by answering a question is a little less artistic than end by asking a question, asking another question that
Sure.
that opens it up. Then
You don't
you
wanna-
just kind of end up cooking on the content rather than closing it off
I
forever.
don't want to necessarily give any spoilers, but
Okay.
the ending of that game gave so many like aha moments. You're like
Successively too, just
what? Oh, like every like 12 times in a row.
Makes for the occasional what?
Yeah, it was good. The ending of that game was super.
and you could
super
refer,
good.
it was very clean, so you could refer to all its little reference points as you're replaying the game, going like like.
Mhm.
It just had it fresh in your mind, like watching Memento over again, but this did more for me than that did. So
Mm-hmm.
I just liked it personally. I fucking reference Bioshock Infinite for everything. It feels so
Well,
cheap.
Why?
I don't know, because
You know
I
what?
guess it's like, what's he gonna say? Bioshock Infinite, probably.
Bioshock Infinite's a topic of
What's your favorite strategy game? Bioshock Infinite.
yeah.
I think
Favorite
there's
movie?
gonna be a lot of crossover because I feel like
Yeah.
that's what my list is like too. Like,
Hey,
oh, you all know my favorite game.
The game's been getting a lot.
Obviously, like the
Bro.
endings to them. So,
Yes.
you know. But, yeah,
The game's been getting a
it's
lot of heat lately, actually. Second, people are talking about it, in retrospect, and
Infinite?
yeah,
Oh. They've been talking about it post Burial at Sea.
sure.
I still haven't played through part 2 of that.
I haven't played through 1 or 2. I feel like a bad Bioshock fan right now, but
I recommend it.
core game.
At least
Okay,
The first part I liked.
sure. I'll do it. I must.
I must increase my lust for Booker. Do it.
Damn it.
Aaron, what do you got?
What do you got?
Topically fresh in memory, a game like this, Fallout 2. I really
Fallout
liked
2.
because that was one of the first games that I played where it wasn't like a 6 million endings kind of game, but it was like a bunch of different variables in your game, like people you encountered and towns you went to and how you affected them. It lets you know what happens to each one. Like in a narrative, it's like this town went to bullshit because you killed the mayor and left, and like this town prospered greatly because of all the help you did with the well, and you're like, okay, like this character never found happiness because you didn't use him, and like, oh. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. I want to play with this thing now and do their side quest and figure out what's going on with that. And like, because I didn't play like Star Ocean ever, that had apparently 6 million endings or something. 6 million is definitely the accurate number, I think.
Close to 6
yeah,
million.
absolutely.
Yeah,
6 million
so,
seems
like-
accurate.
yeah. So having like a completely variable thing, not like you saved them and then everyone is in the castle and eats the cake. Nice work. Like, sweet.
Mario Portal?
Mario Portal. That's one of mine.
I like Mario endings.
Mario Portal.
They're so stupid. Like, they're so simple. But
I made a cake for you.
Peach.
It's
Princess
so cute.
Toadstool.
So I
Back
guess
to you.
it's my turn.
It is
Yeah.
you. You put it off long enough.
I did. Sorry.
That's okay.
So I'm a fan of the Silent Hill games,
Sure.
and they all have multiple endings, and they like to be silly sometimes with their endings. So you probably all know the UFO endings.
Yeah.
So the regular endings are all like good, they're sad and all that stuff. So they had UFO endings, which were all really funny, and I think they did them all up until 5.
On all the games?
Yeah, until
Really?
Homecoming. Wait, no, 4 didn't have one.
I didn't play. I only played 1 and 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, 4 didn't have one, and then 5 had. Anyway, but that's not the one that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dog ending for Silent Hill 2.
The dog endings.
I don't know if I got that one.
You never. Oh, okay.
They
But
kept
yeah,
that
there's
shit
a-
going for across several games.
Yeah.
That sounds
But,
funny. I should go back and do this.
You should go back and do it. And I don't want to spoil the ending. I think you should just go and
They're not extra long. I could do it.
No, yeah, it's yeah.
Like-
I don't remember all the requirements to get that ending. I kind of feel like,
But GameFAQs does.
Yeah,
Probably,
Google
yeah.
has an answer for me.
but it's hilarious and I like it.
Okay.
So,
So no explanation, no spoilers. Just it's a good one. Everybody
yeah, because it's funny.
go play it.
Yeah.
How many endings did they have? They had UFO, dog, regular.
For Silent Hill 2 or for all of them?
I'll say for Silent Hill 2, because it's gonna vary,
There was,
right?
like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
Have
that's
you
mine.
seen my daughter Cheryl?
Have you seen my son?
Did you guys
have you
play
seen Jason?
Shattered Memories?
No.
Yes,
That game is so fucking bad. Don't ever play it. It's so.
Did you just
fun
recently play
game.
this or no?
Well, when it came out, I bought it. Despite my intuition, because I'm like, it looks so bad. It looks so
Woman's
stupid.
intuition.
But it's a Silent Hill game, so I have to play it.
Oh,
Like, it's so fucking stupid. Just stay away from it.
like just
you
1
can
and 2
have
and
my
that's it.
copy of it if you guys want,
No.
because I'm desperately trying to give it
I'm
away.
just trying to burn it, but it
Yes.
won't burn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Normonomicon.
So, what
It
about you,
won't
Chris?
die.
What's your second one?
I feel bad for sticking with kind of recent games.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But my second pick, I'm gonna go with The Last of Us.
Called Nostradamus in my
I'm
head.
sorry.
It's all right.
Last of Us.
I didn't have it.
I'm not gonna spoil
I was gonna
anything
give that to you.
because it's pretty recent, and plus the HD version, or not HD, but the remastered version's coming out, and I don't want to, spoil anything. It's just the ending has such a. It was so abnormal of an ending. Like, did you finish it?
Yes.
Okay, so the ending, you guys didn't finish it,
Never
right?
played
Aaron and Irene.
I was gonna
So-
play it again, and I couldn't. I was still like hyped and like stressed from
I'm
the
not
first
gonna-
playthrough. I couldn't do another one.
It's hard to go into. I'm not gonna go into details. It's just it's ambiguous a little bit.
It's like
where
another one that asks a question instead of answers it.
It's
I would
very
say.
left to interpretation, and it's when, like Bioshock Infinite. After you finish it, you pause by yourself and just kind of reflect on it, and you think, start like, wait. It's very intriguing, very interesting, very thought provoking.
That game is really good at making
It's-
you like giving you total immersion, and then the ending is no less.
And-
Like that ending pulls you in rather than
But it makes
closes you out.
and it presents
like-
so many questions to you as a player and as a witness to what just happened.
My goodness.
And you're just thinking like, it just makes you question a lot of things that have been established.
Even
already.
personally, like
Sure, exactly.
Goodness, like,
even personally,
it's huge.
You start questioning
It goes
what you would
meta-game.
do yourself.
It goes into the real world.
It's so impactful. Like The Last of Us. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played.
It's up there.
I mean,
It's one of the best games I've ever played. It's not my kind of game, really. Not like survival horror stuff. I played it. I was driven. I loved it. You
I'm
too have
so
not played
happy
it?
to buy
One of
it
the best
again.
games I've never played.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for the remastered version.
Podcast goal: getting you two to eventually
I'd
like
love
experience
to.
those games. Yeah, that
Give
game.
me a PS3.
I don't have a PS3 around. Well, I do have one around. Yeah, have you come over and play it,
You can get a
or
PS3
just
for-
like hand you mine for and be like, hey, take this.
you can
And
get a PS3 for $80 right now on cowboom.com.
Calboon.
you and your cow boom.
What do you mean, me and my cow
You and your cow boom.
Like have I
Classic Chris.
Oh, cowboom.
Freaking. This is at least the second time I've heard you reference it.
It's just the deal, like on Reddit's video game deals page. If
Mhm.
there's one on there for like $80, it's used. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Something to think about. All right.
that's it. Last of Us,
Hmm.
and just one more quick thing: the Left Behind DLC that they released for it.
Yeah.
Oh, have you played that? You should play that.
I did not. It was the one with
It's all
Ellie
yeah, it's all
and
about
her
Ellie.
friend.
Yeah, but it tells a story before she meets Joel,
Right.
and actually it tells a story of her. How in the game, I don't want to spoil anything.
Her
She's
guardian.
No, it tells a story of Ellie before she meets Joel.
Cool.
But it's very relevant, and it explains a lot of shit about Ellie. Makes you respect her a lot more. At least it did for me.
Especially near the beginning.
Not that I didn't respect her already as a character, but like you learn a lot of her motivations. Like there's a very
Right.
key point in The Last of Us where Ellie is trying desperately to do one thing,
Right.
and you're kind of questioning like, why is she trying so hard? This explains why
That's cool.
it explains her motivation.
So where they start confusing and come into their own, you find out that they've been pretty cool the whole way. You just didn't know anything
It's
about them from one.
Are you able, and if so, would you recommend playing the DLC before the game?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
Don't
Because it
experience
doesn't-
the game first and then
Oh,
go back
you know
and fill
what?
it in?
No,
like,
because there's spoilers.
Okay.
because
Okay.
it starts out because there's the game that DLC jumps between 2 different time periods.
Okay.
It does it really seamlessly and cool too, like without really loading either, which is like they did some
That's rad.
technically marvelous shit with The Last of Us on the PS3.
They
But
went all out for that game though.
It
That was
really
the last
goes-
one, like hurrah for the PS3. So
it goes really back and forth. So like the part that it takes place in the present, and then it also takes place in the past. And the present part of it is a big spoiler for The Last of Us for the main story. So don't. Yeah.
don't do it.
You're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you go back to it.
Well,
Like,
you
oh,
wouldn't-
that's what the fuck.
You wouldn't say that. You would just. Yeah, it would just spoil some shit. But anyway,
Yeah.
number 2 for Just.
Number 2 for juice.
Number
Juice.
I'm gonna drop a number 2 on you. I'm gonna say Xenogears. It was really. I mean, people
Good
appreciate
answer.
that
Good
game.
answer.
People appreciate that game. Nice.
Good
Good
answer. Family.
This is trivia again.
Steve Harvey's gonna be like, is it got Xenogears?
No, you idiot.
Show me cards flute.
I can't even say too much about this. This is a weird one because you can't. There's so many spoilers, and you want the people who are listening or the people who are here right now to play this game if they've not.
Is this a bad topic?
No,
No.
I like
There are
it.
endings,
It's
but we
just
can't
keeping
do
us
it.
very vague.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to speak in generalities, which isn't really all bad.
Okay.
I can't say actually too much about the ending at all, but it had intrigue, it had betrayal, it wrapped a whole bunch of good stuff up. Like, it didn't leave me hanging too badly. It didn't go like, oh, I wish this would have happened. It closed everything off fairly well. Or, like,
Did
it
have
satisfied me as an ending. And it had,
Titan in a speedo?
it did
That's
not,
the best part.
unfortunately.
That is the intriguing part.
It did have a surfboard.
What
It
were
did
you
not
doing?
have a surfboard.
What were you doing on that surfboard? Were you grinding?
I was- I gotta sing it on the podcast, Chris. I'm gonna sing Beyonce for you on a podcast.
You're gonna sing it sooner or
I'm
later.
a fucking professional.
You got a different
How
musician.
Dare you? It was above all things. It was epic. I will say it was epic. Not in scope really, but just in presentation. I liked that game in general, and I was not disappointed by the ending. So I appreciated it as a good ending. There are probably better endings out there, but I'm thinking about it now. I'm just like smiling on my brain. I like it. Smiling on that brain. Smiling on. Not even paying attention.
I knew it was coming. Knew it.
Aaron, what's your
I'm
number
gonna
2?
say for my number 2, Rogue Legacy,
Ooh.
because the game, it's not the kind of game where spoilers is really a big thing. So I'm gonna say, like,
Did you beat that?
a couple times.
Oh, wow.
You go in, you beat the
It's
boss.
not.
You find out, like, pretty much every time you go in that game, you are a new child of yours. Like,
Yeah.
every time you die, it, like, fast forwards a few years, the castle's randomly generated, and you play as, like, one of 3 children of the person who went in last, and it's your, like, family's duty and honor bound to just keep going in.
But you have a new defect, like
Yeah.
a new genetic.
And you just keep throwing heirs at this until they're, like, dead and dead and dead until you finally clear the castle. And at the end of that game, it does a thing that is one of the tropes that, I hate using the word trope, but it's one of those recurring things that games do back in the day that I really liked, where you see your character during the credits just run through all the old
Yes.
stages, and you're just like, oh! Because the way you run in that game, you've got your sword up, like,
You run like an idiot, and you
And
like
you
goose
just,
step
like-
run the whole way because
yeah.
the animations are very choppy.
You're just cruising on back through all of the zone, and then you run back to your homestead, and like you and a gender-swapped version of you and a bunch of little yous are there, and you're like, we're back with our family, we can finally live in peace, the castle is defeated.
Gender swapped people on that game sometimes have beards.
If they're
Sometimes
wizards.
have facial
Also, if you're
hair.
gay, you go back to the same gender, if that's one of your like brain
Yes.
changes. If you happen to be a homosexual character, you go back to the same gender and children. And I'm like, alright, whatever. This is progressive.
Medieval adoption.
But it then tells you how many years and how many of your heirs have
That's
died
so
in
good.
that castle. And the first time I beat the game, it was something like 200 generations of my family had been sent in to die. And I'm like, oh.
You were wading through your family's bones to try to fulfill
Yeah.
your destiny.
It was a little
How
bit
metal
like,
is that?
damn.
How many years did it take you? To 200 generations.
It's
So
something like 21 to 23 years per person.
Oof.
So it was well into like the 2000s. We should be going in with like guns and bombs and lasers and shit.
Right.
So, like hoverboards, like surf hoverboards and like jetpacks and shit because they don't work without power. But no, we kept going on with the family sword that we learned how to smith 1,000 years ago and keep making the same one.
Right.
It was rad though. It's a good game. If you like anything, if you like side scrollers or games that will kill you, Rogue Legacy. It's like on sale all the damn time.
I played it. Actually, we did it on Fistful Twitch.
Did
It
you?
was a really fun time. We were all horrible.
Oh.
We didn't beat the eyeball. We didn't beat the first boss.
First boss is hard.
We never ever did it. Like,
I think I got to New Game Plus 3 and then was like, fuck this.
we played for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. None of us, we like switching the paddle off. None of us ever beat it.
So my second pick is my favorite Zelda game ever,
Zelda 2.
which is
Down stab.
Zelda 3.
Downstairs.
Zelda 3.
That's the best one.
Link's Awakening.
No, Link to the Past.
Link's Awakening.
Link to the Past.
No, I mean you're right, but I'm saying mine.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah,
That had a really good one.
it's super cliche. I don't give a shit.
Sometimes that's good. That's a
It was
classic
so-
ending.
yeah, It was good though because you spend so much time in the game getting to know
Yes.
people and stuff, and then
Wait,
You know.
am I misremembering, or is Link's Awakening the one with the cosmic whale?
That is
the
the.
Windfish.
Yes.
On Game Boy?
Yes.
I love that one
Yeah.
actually.
That was a
Yes.
good game. That was a great game.
I love that one. With
Fucking
the
best game.
You know, that was when Nintendo was.
Sorry.
They put out like Mario Land and then Link's Awakening, which you think are bastardized versions of their NES counterparts, but
But
they're actually
no.
that's false. So like super different games and very good in their own right.
I agree.
Link's Awakening is sweet.
Also the one that kind of links to Wind Waker. Is that the one that?
Wind
Is
Waker?
that the one? I was reading that Hyrule Historia. Is that the one that links to that one, or is it the one that comes? No,
I
that
thought
Link's
Wind Waker
Awakening
is
happens
Link's-
shortly after Link to the Past. Yeah.
I thought yes, Link's
You
Awakening is a
Oh,
direct
yeah.
sail
sequel.
to the
It's a
island
sequel to
and
Link to
then-
the Past,
yeah.
more or less in time. But no, in Wind Waker they referenced. I mean, you go to like
He's on
Hyrule Castle.
the
and you-
Toon Link
yeah.
storyline.
But I think that actually, it feels like it goes to A Link to the Past. I mean, Ocarina of Time Hyrule.
Yeah.
And-
Okay.
Yeah. And it was based on Twin Peaks, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. Which
Link's
makes a lot
Awakening
of
was?
sense. Yeah.
I haven't watched Twin Peaks.
Because
Yeah,
it's
'cause
so
it's all a
fucking
dream.
wacky.
It's all a dream.
What? It was all a dream.
There's statute of
Spoiler.
limitations on that. That game came out 20 fucking
That's
years
true.
ago.
Yes.
Mario 2.
24
Yeah.
years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
it's called Link's Awakening.
That was
Yeah.
fucking 24 years ago.
Yeah, 19.
It was.
Maybe 91, so maybe 24
How
years
old
ago.
do you feel in this very moment?
Older by the second.
Older by 2 decades.
But
You're old.
I am.
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
That's good. No, that's a good one.
I like
Yeah.
it.
It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick. My final one. There's so many I really like. I want to go with Zone of Enders 2.
Zone of the
Zone of the
Benders?
Zone of Pretenders 2.
Son of the Blenders?
Zone of the Blunders
2?
2. Because I love that
Every
ending.
time.
Clone of pre
But that game's ending is more about the
Pre-renders.
finale. Like the final boss battle is all part of the ending. And I don't know. But anyway, no, I'm gonna go with Shadow of the Colossus
Oh.
because
That was a great ending.
yeah, that ending was great.
Shit. I forgot about that game.
How do you
Love that ending.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
It was because I had to think about them. But now I
I mean,
have 2
well,
of them.
you know, the ending of Shadow of the Colossus is also a little thought provoking, but it makes you question like what you've been doing
Yes.
the whole game.
Yeah.
Um,
It was great. It
Yeah.
was a bit twisty.
Because
The cliche
it
was
was-
twisty, but
yeah,
it was good.
yeah, it was good.
You inhaled dramatically.
No, I just
Was it a yawn?
no.
You
I
bored
think
with
she was
Chris's?
giving an example of the ending and her
Oh.
reaction to it.
I
Yeah.
see.
There's not too much to say about it other than it's
Gasp!
Except
A talking pinata.
just thought provoking and just satisfying. I think that's what's good about it. What makes a good ending. You know, like you have to feel
Right.
satisfied. You can't feel cheated. There's been several games, like you know what your friend you've played Ni no Kuni because I feel
Yeah.
like the end of Ni no Kuni. Did you beat Ni no Kuni?
Your friend.
No, but my
It's
Yeah.
I like that for that one's a great example. Like I don't want to say cheated, but I felt unsatisfied with the ending. I was like, that's all you're gonna give me? Did I get the bad ending or what's cracking?
I had like 2 things I want to bring up while we're on endings.
Yeah.
And about unsatisfying endings, anytime you beat an old ass game, sometimes in the arcade, sometimes you just beat it like at home, and at the end of the credits, the great fucking fanfare, it says game over. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, game over's when I lose.
Yeah.
This is fine.
That was in our arcade like trope. Like they game over because they didn't want you to keep playing. They need you to put another quarter in.
This would have been the greatest segue into arcades. We're gonna
Would've.
miss it.
But it ain't.
We'll
ain't
get
yet.
to it.
I
That
got
was why I
nothing.
said
I'm a
game
segue
over,
man. I love it.
Because
Let you
otherwise
know, like, quick
they'd
look.
get people who were just, aces at that game, and they would be able to play forever. So they
Right.
had to game over those fools, let other people play.
So if you beat the game, it's like game over.
Hey, you
Hand
got
that shit off.
You got your quarters worth.
Right.
Beat it. Scram.
I'm scray. Get out of here, kid. You bother me.
We're gonna have a worst endings
Get
top
outta
3
here.
right
I was
now.
thinking
We
about
should.
saying that, actually.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah.
Now that we've had this one.
Well, what's your number 3?
Did you just go?
He did.
You did. Holy shit! I can't even keep track of us.
Yes.
You see why I need you guys? So I can't remember things.
Every day.
My brain doesn't do the things. So I was gonna say Dragon Quest 7 because I freaking love that game a
Quest
lot.
64?
No, Dragon Quest 7 is PS1.
PS1, where you have to go through that. Oh, that game is
Dragon
so good.
Quest 64.
No, I said Quest 64.
Oh.
No, that might be on a different list.
Yeah.
'Cause I love that game, but I don't know why.
We're gonna have a whole episode on debates where we say this game is great, and I say fuck that game.
Contention.
Quest 64.
Top 3
Fuck that game.
contentions in podcast.
Anyway.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie. Fuck Banjo-Kazooie.
Fuck Banjo-Kazooie because it's good, because
No,
it's hot,
because-
and you would fuck it.
Bullshit.
What?
Let's
Did
keep
we
going.
start that?
Let's keep it
episode
moving.
Just now?
Yeah,
Keep
we
it
did. I was gonna say Dragon Quest 7 because I loved it. I loved the game. I felt like when I beat it, I had gotten everything I'd worked towards, and I was fairly certain nobody else was gonna take it. I've changed it because, and this is a bold choice too, because I don't feel like this is widely, respected. But I stopped the Assassin's Creed trilogy thing at 2, not Revelations, because I felt too closed off Ezio's storyline for me. It had a whole ending after that where things made sense, but what that game embodied was revenge for me, essentially. Like that whole, they built his storyline up, statute of limitations, they built it off of this revenge story, where this dude, set your family up, murdered half of it, you have to go through all this shit, and then the first game, Assassin's Creed 2, that leads into Brotherhood, just chops you off with this cliffhanger where you didn't get any satisfaction. You don't, you're just left wanting. And then in 2, you culminate it with, Inigo Montoya status. You just, fuck you! And then that's how you end. You're like, yes! Ugh!
So that is your number 3 is Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, or no, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
Because that one closes off the one that was started in 2.
That's Assassin's Creed 2-2.
2-2.
Okay.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. Boogaloo.
The Revenge.
Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, but there's that just, it's almost orgasmic. It's
Yes.
you've been waiting to fucking kill this person for so long, and then you kill another person you've been waiting to kill along the way, and then you still need to kill this person. Oh, it's so good. I'm
People
sorry.
die. It's a
Feels-
game about assassins.
It feels great. It's cathartic. It's just this weird catharsis in
you're
your... I don't ever need to
saying-
kill a real person, but in this game, I needed to kill them so badly.
So you're saying that you are aroused by killing people.
I was aroused by killing Cesare Borgia. Yes.
I see.
Dick, rock hard.
Twist
Rock hard.
Twist the nips. Yeah,
Oh.
And it was over.
Zombie.
It was over from his... pour the chocolate on, zombie. Oh, deliciously decadent. Aaron, what was your third game?
My third game was back to a tender moment in my childhood when I didn't
Zone
thi-
of Tenders?
Yes,
Okay.
Zone of the Tenders, about right here,
Right.
where I didn't think I was good at things, and I used cheat codes all the damn time. But
That is a tender moment.
a pretty easy game that I was able to beat over and over again was Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy.
I liked that game.
I love that game.
It was a fun,
It was a
fucking
really
game,
good game.
and I could beat it. And I loved the soundtrack, and I would beat that game over and over and see the ending where Kirby floats all heck of a big. He gets all big and carries the weird castle off or whatever, and he's
Right.
dropping fruit all over the place. I'm like, eat that, Kirby! You need that shit. Whatever, feed all the animals. I don't know what's going on.
You're talking to him
And-
after they're like, oh, come on, man.
That just
You're a
the
good
whole event of that. I could watch it again. I'd just be like, I want to beat that game again right now.
dude. We'll
That's
go home
probably-
and play it. I've got a
probably-
night open.
Probably my favorite ending if I was gonna pick one.
Okay, that's fair. I
Um,
really like that
while I'm
game.
on the topic, and just before I pass it on, the other thing I want to talk about, Bad Dudes, where you just
Yes.
go get a hamburger with the president.
So fucking self-aware. I feel like that was only meant to be ironic.
Yeah, like if you released that game today, it would be like Broforce or something where you're kind of exploiting.
Double Dragon
Yeah.
Neon.
Yeah, but Bad Dudes totally self-aware,
Very.
but ahead of its time in a way.
Two crude dudes.
Two crude dudes.
Nowhere
was a
near
bullshit-
as good of an
Nah,
ending
it was
as
the poor man's
Bad Dude.
Dudes.
It was the
Come
poor
on.
man's Bad Dudes. I'll give that to you.
Yeah,
What about Turtles in Time?
Turtles in Time was the rich man's
It's a solid ending.
go-to choice of
Rich
turtle
man.
4-player time traveling brawling.
Yeah, if you're gonna choose a 4-player turtle time traveling brawler, you're gonna
You couldn't
choose.
go wrong with Turtles in Time.
Bill Gates wasn't happy with this one game. He was just like, I wish this was better. So he made Turtles in Time. He
I'm
funded it.
I'm sure there's other time traveling mutant.
Single-handedly
Do
crowdsourced
the
it.
battle toads travel through time? 'Cause
They travel through space.
There you
Space,
go.
not time, yeah.
Which may as well be time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, River City Ransom.
You are
River City
bogarting
Ransom.
this
That's not
shit.
that's not even on the list. But you were talking
Just
about
do
beat 'em
it.
ups, and I'm like, what about that?
Top
Where's
also,
that?
this is a
But
good game.
I'm done.
No, which-
I'm done.
Irene, what do you got?
Madam, please.
Every game I've ever played, I enjoyed the ending to, and I will start the list with...
Exactly. Kinda.
Damn it.
Um,
Astian Axe with the A.
yeah.
Every
yeah.
axe is a sword.
I was gonna add just really quick Mega Man 2 to my list.
Yeah.
'cause it's short and sweet
Mhm.
and tender.
But
And good.
there's a little bit of interpretation left up to that too. Like if you think about it, because he's just walking,
hmm
and it's this really sad song actually that's
Doom,
playing,
doo-doo-doo.
and he goes through all the
The
seasons.
Hulk is
Mhm.
trying to...
But when he gets to the end,
Yeah, the
it
helmet.
stops and it's an empty helmet.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to interpret that as like he was done, like he's finished his mission and he's quit Mega Man. He's now Rock again. That's
But
in my as a kid, I thought. I don't know.
Yeah, all thought
obviously-
deep as a kid, man. A lot of kids are just like, hi, and then
But
game's
when
over.
he's
Like,
walking back, his face is very.
yeah, like he's looking down
Yeah.
a little and he's just, contemplating, and it's like the season thing, and the song is just like super sad to me.
I always thought he was sad for having to murder all those robots.
That's probably what was happening.
Yeah, he's conflicted,
hmm.
and
He had to kill Bubble Man.
he did.
That was your favorite, Bubble
Bubble
Man's
Man.
wiry corpse.
Wiry.
His
That was
wiry,
his favorite.
wiry remains.
Bubble Man's wiry horse was his favorite enemy.
Oh, that's right.
You can't. Yeah.
We were
no,
very
that's great. That was a good-
self-referential. I like
Yeah,
this.
but I took that one off my list.
Okay.
I was
Alright,
gonna
so what
give
do
it
you
to
got?
Piper, and he didn't.
I like it, actually.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to add, because I put Dragon Quest on there, so that'll be my fifth,
Okay,
along with Aaron's
cool.
fifth. So you've got room for two more.
Well,
And
my
we already
favorite
passed you up, so I'm sorry.
That's
is
right.
cheating, and I'm gonna say all of the endings to Chrono Trigger.
You're right. Nah, that's not cheating.
All
I'll give
of
it
the
to you.
endings
All
to
of
Chrono
them,
Trigger.
all
Alright.
13.
Predictable
Take
and
one
Yes.
fair.
Surprise.
I'll give it to you.
Yep.
You can have
I
all the
can't
endings
pick
from Chrono
one,
Trigger.
and I
Right.
just love the fact that they, had different things happen. I mean, it went with the theme of Chrono Trigger, like it's time
Right.
travel, so it's different points of it. Anyway,
That was really
anyway,
cool. I appreciate that game on a
You
deep
can beat
level.
that game on several different points,
Mhm.
and I think that game was very ahead of its time.
And several things
I
can
agree.
happen differently in the game. Like you can get a character, or you can not get that character.
Yeah, and they were funny.
Game
They
playthroughs
were
are pretty different.
sad.
Yeah.
Some of the endings were just like, no, but it was.
I think I would pay to watch you do a let's play of this when it's happening. And...
I know.
No!
You do that every time.
Yeah.
But okay, so yeah, predictable Chrono Trigger.
That's okay.
Was that it?
Chrono
That's
Trigger.
it?
Well, I thought you had more.
Well,
Like,
that's 13.
just all of
endings,
the- okay.
So yeah, technically. I
you
have
chose
16.
13 endings.
Voting for one, I do decree it.
I do decree
One
it.
mighty ending rolled together.
Mhm.
Wrangled around inside of one game. So I'm gonna cheat and use that last segue that happened like 15 minutes ago
Mhm.
to go into our Game on Tap. Game on Tap! On the MultiTap podcast! Because we don't have...
Only got one live song.
Yes.
We're
Talking about
every
arcade
single segment.
We're singing two different songs and I
Yeah,
love
well, I
it.
said we're...
Yeah!
Ouch.
So, yeah. I have a compound fracture that you can't see right now, but...
I can.
If you have the sting in your palm, I mean that means the high five was successful.
I have a sting on my undercarriage
I don't
right
want to see any
now.
high fives that don't have a sting.
Mhm.
If you don't have
Feel it,
sting,
feel the
you
sting.
didn't
It's
do
not
it
a
right.
high five.
That's nice. That's
Sting,
nice.
it's there. That's
That
the
was
stank
solid.
on it. Aaron put stank on it.
Put some
Stank
stank
on it. Stank on it.
Get stank on it. Anyway, sorry, this is the game on tap because we're not going to do bit by bit, bringing it back bit by bit, or bringing it back really.
That's why I use the song.
So no theme song, but game on tap, and that's you, Chris.
This week's game on tap is the topic on tap. The
Sure.
topic this week being arcades.
I like this.
We hinted at this last episode, but we didn't actually follow through with it.
I was excited to do it then too, but I'm actually kind of relieved / happy and excited that now is the time.
Arcades are a somewhat sad subject now because arcades are all pretty much dead in the United States with a few exceptions, but arcades were more than just a place to play games. They were a place to meet friends, or a place to just be at instead of home. Like for me,
Did
going
you
to the
write
arcade-
this?
No.
Wow. This comes straight from the
Very
heart right now.
eloquent,
Goodness.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now you broke it.
I'm sorry.
It,
It is. It was a place of community.
It was a place to be. It was a place to. It was always welcoming. You can go to an arcade with $5 and be there, for a while. You know what? That actually kind of led to my love. I have a strong affinity. My friends know about for SNK, the game developer, and a lot of it has to do with going to arcades as a kid because the Neo Geo machine was always a quarter, and so I could play the Neo Geo machines for days. Because a lot of shit was 50 cents or it was like Street Fighter 2, which I'd put a quarter in and be my quarter would be gone and because I'd probably lose and but nobody was ever playing the Neo Geo machine, so I played Metal Slug and Samurai Showdown for fucking hours, and that might have led. I just thought about that. That might have led to my love for SNK.
Who's your character in Samurai Showdown? Who
Well,
you
which
play
Samurai
as?
Showdown?
Genjuro.
Genjuro.
Really?
Yeah, Genjuro was my man in Samurai Showdown too.
Fair enough.
Which one's that?
Genjuro is the anti-Haumaru. Like he's the one that's he has the large pinkish pants. He has the long ponytail hair. Also has a sword, similar stance to Haumaru.
That's already.
No, that's
going?
Ukyo.
Oh.
He's the one who's dying. He has cancer
Cool.
because he coughs. That's what.
Oh yeah, or tuberculosis or something.
Something. He has something. Yeah.
He's got the Taco Bell.
He's got the taco.
The TB?
bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Sakura petals. And just
Yep.
breathe them in.
Oh,
They gotta
red.
stop doing this. I'm getting sick.
Mine is Kabuki Joe.
Kabuki Joe.
Yes.
That's your game.
No.
No, that's
your
your
Character.
Kabuki
The
Joe.
stupid guy with the Kabuki mask who had the halberd.
The
Oh,
redhead?
well, I think his name was Kabuki
I think Kabuki Joe was from
I think
Kasumi
so.
Ninja.
No.
No.
Was it? I didn't play Kazumi
I want
Ninja.
to say it was Kabuki.
I think it's just
but
Kabuki. I'm gonna look it up now. I remember
I
his
call
name.
him Kabuki
I can't
Joe.
believe I don't remember. I played Galford.
Because I
He
was
had
a
dog.
weird kid.
I was really
Galford?
bad at that game,
Galford.
and
Who is that?
don't
Hot
even
blonde.
remember if I had any
With the
success.
Oh,
with
the
that
blonde?
character.
Yes.
The blonde
only
American
blonde.
ninja with a
The
dog.
only blonde. Well, Charlotte was blonde, but she was a girl.
She had a breastplate and a rep. Yeah,
She did.
yeah.
I loved her too.
She was badass.
Yeah.
We played this on Twitch actually too. The Bob. We played that, and some guy was him. It was incredible actually with him. Yeah,
Cool.
man.
In Kabuki Joe.
His name was Kyoshiro, not Kabuki.
Well, it's
Kabu-
Kabuki, obviously.
I don't
It's
remember.
Kabuki Joe.
He looks
Kabuki
like
Joe
a
is
You
Yeah.
called him Kabuki Joe because you're a racist.
Because I'm a weird kid.
I was gonna say
I was
he's,
a weird
he's
kid.
either from
Look,
Kasumi
I
Ninja
was a
or he's
racist.
an incredibly racist wrestler from the '90s. It's one or the other.
No, he-
So there were back in the day. This isn't true anymore. But back in the day, there was a lot of.
I'll
games-
get it. It
Oh,
was
I called
fucking
him.
War God.
Yeah, it was because it was from War God, so I called him Kabuki Joe because Kabuki is from
God
War
damn
God.
it, War God.
Sorry.
It's all right.
God damn it, Midway presents.
War Gods is another game we can fight about because War Gods is a pile
Or-
of steaming horse shit.
Used to fight because you own it. I know you do.
Of course I have it. That's why I have it because it's so bad. It's fun to play. Because the thing about bad fighting games is nobody plays those games. So, well, actually we have one friend who fucking plays them.
Yeah.
Good Brian. Brian's the only person in the world who still knows War Gods fatalities by heart.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Show me.
this
Arcades.
isn't true anymore, but you used to only get certain games, certain experiences at arcades.
Mm-hmm.
You can only play these games at arcades because current home consoles weren't powerful enough to replicate the experience. They would have bastardized versions. Nintendo had the Turtles 2 arcade game, but it was not the Turtles 2 arcade game in arcades. It was a toned down 8-bit version.
Two-player.
2 player instead of 4, right? They fixed that in Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project. You can have 4 in that, right?
Maybe.
Well,
was-
shit.
I didn't
maybe
play
I'm-
Manhattan. I just
That was a
Turtles
good
in
game.
Time, and then I quit.
Well, Turtles in Time was 4.
Right.
But anyway, Turtles in Time in the arcade, right?
Sorry. It is. You can't not do it when somebody goes.
Good music. But arcades are near and dear to my heart. And I was going to ask you guys, like, what arcades did you go to as kids? I can tell you mine. The one I went to the most as a kid was the game room in Birdcage. Now, do you guys remember Birdcage?
Yes, I remember the game room.
I remember the game room.
Birdcage used to be the best place to go in Sacramento, hands fucking down for a kid. You had the game room, which was like the best arcade in the city. You had the dollar movie, which when you're a kid, you don't have many dollars.
Right.
So the dollar movie was amazing.
When you're fucking done with games, you're like, I'm gonna watch a movie.
Yeah, that's 2 hours.
My parents aren't
There was a bowling alley next to the dollar movie that had another arcade inside of it. There was a comic book store, Comics and Comics. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
And after all that, it was right next to a Toys R Us.
Yes. It was in walkable distance from Toys R Us. It was like right down the block.
Yeah, and across the street was Sunrise Mall.
Right.
So, and there was another arcade in there because Tilt used to be in there.
I never utilized that. I went to Tilt a bunch, but never when I wasn't as adventurous as a child as you, I guess. I didn't move around a lot from...
I lived in North Highlands, and I could take one bus up Watt without switching to get to Birdcage.
North Highlands.
North Highlands.
North Highlands.
With a TH, North.
Highlands.
No, with an F.
No, it's TH, North Highlands.
North Island.
North Highlands. North. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Where'd you guys go?
Tilt.
Fucking
the game room. I went to Golfland later,
but for like a short period. It was pretty cool.
Tilt was rad, and the game room was rad. I've done a lot more of not my formative years, but kind of like later on the arcade years. I spent more time at Golfland because we got dropped off there.
Golfland was a huge part.
Neglectful parents.
Golfland was a huge part of my arcade days too. Like, because Golfland was the last, I think, was the last standing arcade for this area.
Last bastion, yeah.
I mean,
It still is,
well,
but it's not.
I went there, but they took a lot of their games out.
That's the problem. Is the arcade's still there, but they took out all the good.
They
games.
have fucking Doodle Jump and the stupid thing where you're trying to hit stuff. It's all just ticket games, and it's dumb.
It's redemption games and fucking mobile games that got turned into arcade games.
It's useless.
It's a shell of its former self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I haven't been there in a while. Now I don't want to go there.
Well,
it's not worth it for the arcade.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
unless
the
you're
only
gonna golf.
reason I went there.
Yeah, don't go.
That's the only reason. We always used to go there. They used to have everything there, man.
They don't have the Neo Geo machine up.
They still have Silent
They ripped
Scope?
it.
I don't think they have.
No.
That was my
anymore.
fucking favorite.
They don't have Time
Silent Scope
Crisis.
was shit.
That's not up.
They don't have Capcom vs. SNK 2. They don't have Street Fighter
Is Buddha not having
Strike.
it, or Buddha
That
games?
Golfland used to have Golfland in Roseville had the full function moving F-Zero AX arcade cabinet there. You remember that? That shit was dangerous as hell.
Probably why they took it out, because it's freaking parents nowadays.
That was the only place I ever saw it. But
they have Mario Kart there.
It used to be really good. Now it's not good.
I used to spend a lot of time at Golfland
Cool.
playing DDR, and I think I talked about this already
You
on the
did,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was one place. And then I also talked about Newberry's in San Diego, where I used to go all the time with my brothers. I mentioned this on another show.
Okay.
The one I want to talk about, which I think Chris probably knows about this place. I don't know if you guys know, but it was Nickel City in San Diego.
No.
Do you know?
I know
Nickel
of
City?
it. I've never been there, but
Okay.
I definitely know of Nickel City.
I think it's a thing owned by Capcom. That was the rumor I heard, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Wow.
But essentially what it was is you pay like a few bucks to get in. When I was going, my freshman year of high school, it was $2 to get in.
Killer.
And then you would spend nickels instead of quarters to play games. Yeah, so it was a lot cheaper. And they also had a section of
many games.
Exactly, and they had a section of free games too. They were older games, but I mean, you pay $2, you could stay there all day.
Right.
You know.
That's rad.
And we would go there almost daily because it was right down the street from our high school, and it was awesome. We spent a lot of time there. So
I would spend a lot of time there. Why is that not here? Why was it never here?
I don't. There was one
Makes me sad.
in Sacramento, or someone was making one, and it just never.
There was a
happened.
Sam's Town up the road in Placerville, and it was like that, but it was still expensive. It wasn't Nickel City. But it had, like, peanut shells all over the floors and stuff. There was a candy barrel, like Cracker Barrel, whatever, in the back that you could just, like, go redeem stuff for, like, taffy and, like, real-ass candy in the back. They were just like, yeah, you have this sarsaparilla drops, and you're like, okay.
You're like, that's some real-ass candy.
That's
right
where you
there.
start getting hooked on real-ass candy, was at Sam's Town.
Sam's Town is my girlfriend Candy's, because you said we're Candy. That was her home arcade, because she used to live down the street from that place.
That place is the shit.
Yeah, she actually still has the Sam's Town token on her keychain, on her keyring right now.
Damn.
That's awesome.
That place no longer stands, and I'm kind of sad about it, but whatever.
I did
Had a
not
good
grow up
root
in
beer
this
there.
area.
Oh.
So my experience with arcades, I liked them, but I had like a round table.
That's okay.
Um,
You know what? I was going to bring this up.
Round
because
Table has
arcades
ice climbers.
Used to be everywhere. The place I played Street Fighter 2 the most was at a gas station near my house in the Bay Area.
The place where I played the SNK, the Metal Slugs, the most was Mountain Mike's down the road.
There you go.
At that round table, I went there a couple times, and what I remember being there like every time, which I usually played a little of both, sometimes just the one. They had Cruisin' USA,
Yep.
later became Cruisin' World,
Sure.
and they had the Die Hard arcade game.
Dude, I just got Die Hard Arcade.
I see it
Oh
right
my
there, and I'm
God.
like,
I just got that like last week
Hello.
on Saturday. I love it.
So good.
And
I've been hunting for that.
that was cool. And then twice during school, like they'll go on field trips for like dumb reasons that as a kid you don't really appreciate. So like, we're gonna go up to like skiing. You want to go skiing, kids? And I'm like, yeah, I want to go skiing because everyone else is going skiing. Mom, can I have money to go skiing? Or she's like, okay. Wait, can I get a snowboard instead? It costs more. Okay. Sweet, can I have some money so I can eat? Okay. I go down the hill like 4 times, and then I hit the arcade with all of my lunch money. And I put all of it into dual-wielding guns in Area 51.
Yes. Yes.
I do not eat that day, and I am ecstatic. Like a year or 2 later, we have another trip planned up to
Man.
the same thing, because like I lived in a mountain town. We can go up to the skis and like do that. I'm like, yes, I want to rent this. Can I do this? Got it. Snowboard again. One time I went down the hill, and then I played Area 51 with 2 guns.
I'm surprised that story didn't end in, I asked for snowboard, lunch money, all this stuff, didn't go down the hill, didn't rent a board, just used all of my money for the arcade.
You should've done.
I learned from the last
I-
year.
Squandered love from. That's what I did. I'm like, yeah.
What are you saying?
I don't know. I don't appreciate shit. I'm a child.
No.
I have a
Aw.
similar story. Like it's instead of the snowboarding, it was Waterworld. So like I remember
yes.
my mom giving me money to go to Waterworld, and I went to Waterworld, and I was swimming. But then I found out that they had an arcade in Waterworld. It was in this little tunnel. You guys remember that at all?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was. It's now. I mean, in retrospect, it's weird to have an arcade games at a water park.
Yeah.
Because kids.
I appreciate
watery
it.
ass hands are gonna get all over the fucking.
Right.
But anyway, I remember going to Waterworld.
Getting
and
Dippin'
immediately
Dots,
after,
going to the arcade.
After I found out there was an arcade, they had X-Men: Children of the Atom. There.
Yes.
And that was the first time I had ever seen that game or even heard of it. At that
Welcome
point.
to
And I was
Die.
like, what the fuck is this? No, X-Men:
Not that
Children
one.
of the
Oh,
Atom
it
is
is.
a fighting game.
The
It's
other
not
one,
a
yeah,
fighting
yeah,
game.
yeah.
But I could not. It blew my mind. I was like, I couldn't believe this is here. And I spent the entire day playing that game and not going to Waterworld.
Man.
I played House of the Dead at the Waterworld.
Nice.
2, I think.
Wait, you paid the money to get into Waterworld to
And-
play.
Yep.
Yes.
X-Men: Children of the Atom. You know, I know what's weird. Okay, so the arcade games used to be everywhere, right?
Right.
You could go to, like we said, a gas station, and you know what? Like in The Simpsons, if you go in the when he goes into Quickie Mart, there's like Nuke, in like
Yeah.
there's always arcade games back
That
there.
Duke
But
Nukem knockoff
bowling
or whatever.
alleys had arcade games. Even grocery stores had arcade games because the grocery store was a food outlet near my house in North Highlands, and they had an arcade cabinet of Air Guys. And that's where I played Air Guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the
I
other
know.
weird, I also was going to talk
Still
about
have
is
that.
you have there's weird, like obscure arcade games in random places because the only place, okay, so like one of my favorite fighting games in existence is Fatal Fury: Mark of the Wolf. It's like one of SNK's last great fighting games, and that's what they made to kind of counter Street Fighter 3, and so they went all out with it. It was running on Neo Geo hardware, so it was hella limited, but they did such a good job with it. In that game, they had an arcade cabinet of that game in a Godfather's Pizza on Dewey and Madison. And
I've been there.
I have no idea why that was there. You know, like of all the games you would have at
All the
a
pizza
Godfather's
stores
I
have
know.
the great ones like Pizza and Pipes. Did you ever go there? Like
No.
down on right next to where Galogly lives.
No.
It's great. It's like on Madison Avenue. It was Pizza and Pipes. It was next to Ye Old Sticky Wicket, which was a bar.
Oh no, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
directly
yeah.
next door.
Because I go.
They had a giant pipe organ in there. I was like, that's cool. We're into video games.
Yep.
My work is down
You
the
know.
street from that place. And I go to the sandwich shop right next to Ye Old Sticky Wicket. Mad Subs.
Yep.
Oh, I was gonna say the German delicatessen.
No, that's not next to Ye Old Sticky Wicket.
So speaking
Oh, it's a little
of
further down the
Yeah.
road.
Air Guys, you're talking about the one that's by the Long John Silver's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mm.
used to go there all the time.
Really?
too, 'cause
Where'd
I
you
lived in-
live?
I lived in Rio Linda.
Oh yeah, that's
You guys
But I
probably
went
didn't
to
know each other.
Taekwondo, because I was in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
in
Sure.
school. And it was right there. It was right next to the Rite Aid before it was the Rite Aid. No, I think it was still a Rite Aid then. Yeah, it was when it was still Ralph's or whatever. But
Well, it used to be Albertsons.
yeah, it was
And then
Albertsons and
Ralph's.
then it was
Now
Ralph's.
it's
and
nothing.
Isn't it Ross?
No. Oh, it's Ross now, but very
Yeah.
recently it's Ross. Yeah.
Anyway, I
That's-
just thought it was
that
funny
was-
because it's like Air Guys. Wait a minute,
Yeah,
I think
that
I know
was
what you're
my
talking
neighborhood.
about. Yeah.
I
Crazy.
lived across the
Interesting.
street.
Crazy
Yeah.
internal podcast
No,
misconnections.
There was
You
a
could have been
Long
playing
John
video
Silver's right
games.
down the street. There was that Jim Boys that was by itself.
Yes.
My
yeah.
house was across the street from that Jim Boys.
Wow.
And
Dang.
I used to walk that food outlet all the fucking
Did you
time.
get Awesome Video all the
I used to
time?
Awesome Video all the
Fucking
time.
loved Awesome Video.
I love Awesome Video.
Yeah.
I bought so many video games from Awesome Video when they were going out of business.
And they had the adults only section. It's just
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Why don't we have video stores like this? We didn't have Blockbuster at Hollywood, but I had Mr. Video next to me across from Liberty Towers when I lived there in North Islands.
Uh-huh.
And then Mega Video when I lived
Oh
in
yeah, Mega
Antelope.
Video. I remember Mega Video.
Holy shit.
You know what? That can be another topic too, but like old
Videos?
like rental stores.
Yep. Yep.
I used to go to Placer TV
So
Video.
good. Oh
that
my
was on.
gosh.
I remember
like
that.
Auburn.
Right.
That was
Off the-
cool. My mom used to love that place because we were
Dude
always,
with the little pick miner on the
we
front.
were always real low on money, and that place let you rent without paying, and then you pay when you return them.
Right.
So that you pay however many days you had them.
Right.
And so she could get it. She would always, paycheck to paycheck. So like, she was getting paid on Friday. We would go there like Wednesday.
You'd
And
kill
so
her if you kept it through
Placer
Saturday.
TV, yeah, Placer TV Video was always our way to rent shit without having any money.
Man, dude.
Memories.
Yeah. But yeah, the Air Guys one was so weird, right?
I know,
Like, why
it's
did the
so
grocery
funny.
store have all games? They had like an
Yeah.
obscure ass Friday. I've never seen Air Guys in the arcade except in Food Outlet in North Highlands. That's not true. There's actually an Air Guys. I'm sorry, because now that I think
You
about
gotta
it.
catch yourself on your own mistake,
Because
Chris.
there's actually an Air Guys arcade cabinet for sale at Denio's. It's been there for like 10 years.
Maybe it's the one
It's-
from.
Doesn't-
It could be that
or
one.
It doesn't sound like you know what you're talking
And you
about.
can play it,
You
too.
don't
It's
even.
No.
I just remember the Denio's one because it's for sale. I wonder if I should. It's like $700. I should buy it.
Wow.
You should. But
Just
Air
talk 'em
Guys?
down.
Yeah,
Just
Buy
talk
that
'em
shit.
down.
I know, but
Right
it's been
now.
there for so long
talk
in the
'em down.
sun. It's probably fucking horrible.
Just talk 'em down.
I don't know if it's still. I haven't denied.
I know a guy that repairs that shit.
Oh yeah. I have
Yeah.
an arcade cabinet in my garage that needs repair.
I will call him and ask him about money
Ultimate
quotes.
Mortal Kombat 3
Money
in my
It'd
garage.
be another
Money
700.
quotes.
700 to pick up the thing, 700 to fix it, and then sell it back for 700.
You're freaking
Right.
golden. That's 777. That's the special. Actually, I
Boys.
think my story for you guys, like the similar that like you'd like take money for other purposes, was Roller King. I'd go to Roller King, the little arcade thing there.
Yeah.
Everybody else was getting green slushies and those little packs of 3 cookies, soft cookies, and I was like, those look really delicious. But I am not going to skate, and I'm not going to eat. I am
So go
going to
here.
play all these video games alone because you guys are squares. You're out there with what, fucking girls on the roller rink
Those
to
losers.
roll into
Girls.
ABBA, which I like roller skating, and I like ABBA, and I like girls. I guess I liked video games more as a child.
Girls,
so-
that's so gay. So I want to talk about arcade games that you couldn't ever play at home
Okay,
because there's a couple. Like
I have one in my head.
which one?
Golfland Sunsplash, Pinball, Medieval Madness.
Okay.
I can now on a PS3, but I
Yeah.
couldn't before.
Yeah.
I played that shit all the time because nobody played pinball back in the day.
Pinball is an experience you can't get at home. I mean, I actually really like the Zen pinball,
Yes.
like Star Wars tables.
Yes.
I have
I
them-
like the Infinity Gauntlet, but of course.
Yeah, that one too.
So-
But they're great. I really like those.
Those are
but
really good.
nothing's exactly like playing an actual. I love pinball.
Yeah.
I really want a pinball machine. A goal of mine, like when I get a bigger house, is I'm gonna have a room with arcade games and pinball machines. I want my own. I'm gonna have my own arcade.
Medieval Madness first.
I will get Medieval Madness, but I
I
also
will
want
play all the time.
Jurassic Park, the pinball.
Yes.
And I want the Terminator 2 pinball.
That was pretty
I
good.
really want the Simpsons pinball.
That was really good.
I love the Simpsons. But anyway, arcade games you could only play in arcades, right? I'm not even gonna look this up, but you guys remember games that you could play, but you can't. They never came home. You know what? Some of them came home very recently because I was thinking of the Simpsons arcade game that
Sure.
never came home. and
Or the
I
X-Men
love
one
that game.
came
The X-Men one,
to Xbox a little while ago.
Yeah, so a couple of them came, like X-Men and the Simpsons, but there's
Play
still
that
at
shit
least
all the
one.
time.
I know Aaron's got it.
Shadows over Star
Alien vs.
and
Predator.
Alien vs. Predator is
yeah.
exactly right.
Fuck.
The Capcom Alien vs. Predator beat 'em up was
fucking
so
Schaefer.
good.
You
That's
had
my
a
other
giant like
story.
weird.
I think I already told another opportunity that I squandered to play video games when my family went on a cruise to Mexico.
Yes.
And I spent the whole thing in the
Yeah.
arcade.
That's the
Like,
greatest
Alien
20-minute
vs.
story
Predator.
we've ever had on the podcast. That
It was
is
so good.
So
It
good.
never came home. Still to this day, you can't play that game outside of emulators now.
man.
And it's garbage.
That's a
So
shame.
You know what's weird is because that game and the Dungeons and Dragons Capcom beat 'em ups like had a very similar style to them, play style and like control. You know what I mean? You played the like Shadows over Star, like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
those recently came out on
On the
PSN,
PSN,
and Xbox Live,
yeah.
which is great. But why not Alien vs. Predator? Where's that shit at, Capcom?
Probably too much licensing. Like,
yeah, I guess so.
Dungeons and Dragons, TSR, and shit like that, they probably are like, yeah, put us out there. We need people buying our
Right.
books.
They
Alien
s-
vs. Predator is like, we don't have a movie coming out yet.
I guess so.
Or they still use their properties.
Yeah, you
really.
know-
Like Alien's still been doing stuff.
It's got to be. That's got to be it. I mean, Aliens and Predator are two licenses that are probably not
Completely
easy to.
different places.
Yeah.
Speaking of timely, H.R. Geiger just died the other
I
day.
know.
I know it sucks. Kenny loves.
Roll out some
Geiger.
Sprite for Geiger.
Yeah.
For Gary Gygax.
Gary Gygaxer. That'd be a much different game.
It would be.
You're like, roll a d20.
There's a couple others that you couldn't get.
Cthulhu.
So I'm thinking of now. There's a Scandia still. It's still there. It's in the
Yes.
islands, right?
Yeah.
But in that Scandia used to have what? No, the
The
arm
arm
wrestling
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, the arm
You
wrestling.
can't take
was
that
good.
home?
I wanted to
Holy
point
shit.
out. I wanted to point out the Sega arcade cabinets because that Scandia had a full motion Afterburner cabinet.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can play Afterburner at home.
I remember that.
Afterburner in the arcade with the cabinet moving and shit. Actually, John Connor plays it in fucking Terminator 2.
Yes.
They had that at Scandia, and it's awesome. They also had the hang-on, like motorcycle cabinet to turn. You actually leaned on the motorcycle.
That was great. I did that for, like, I wasn't playing the game. I was waiting for my parents to do shit
Yeah.
or whatever, and I'd just be on there kind of like cranking it to either side and
Do you guys remember a
just
game?
grinding on that wood.
So, Sega had a lot of those, but Namco had a lot of them too. Because Namco had arcade games that were never released at home a lot. So, like, you guys remember a game called Prop Cycle? Come on.
Name.
Sounds familiar.
Prop Cycle was at Country Club, and it was at, because you guys remember Country Club Lanes?
Yes.
Country
Prop
Club Lanes had-
cycle. I think I know what you're talking
Country Club
about.
Lanes had
I still don't
Fiction.
think I do.
Yeah, because it was
arcade.
you were on a bike.
You were
right?
on a bike
Yeah.
with pedals, and in the game, you were on a bike, but the bike had a propeller, like a helicopter propeller. It's like a
Oh.
gyrocopter, and you had the pedal to
I
keep your
didn't-
ass afloat.
I didn't play
remember
it.
that
And
now.
you had to lean, turn, and you had to you had pitch and yaw and shit, and like it was so hard. But
so
you are
legit.
you are like pedaling your ass off.
You're
because
one-man banding your
You're
way
basically
down the track.
on Da Vinci's machine.
You
It's
are
like
on Da Vinci's
flying machine from
but
Hudson
it's
Hawk.
tiring as fuck because in
Right.
order to ascend, you have to pedal hella fast to get your propeller going. So they had Prop Cycle, and Namco also had another game that was I forget what it's called, but it was a whitewater rapids
Mm.
simulator.
They had that at Golfland, didn't they? Or am I thinking of a different one?
I
No.
didn't
Never
think they
mind.
had that goal, but they did. They definitely had that Country Club.
You're talking about the
And-
one where it was a video game where the two guys are going tubing,
That's
tubing,
Tubin.
yeah.
No, not that. But Tubin was a sweet game.
I played my fair share of tubing.
You would know in this game you had oars, and you would have to row the oars, and it was fucking tiring as hell.
Country Club had a pretty legit.
Country
arcade.
Club had a legit ass arcade for
Yeah.
a long time.
I remember going there, but we didn't go
It
there
was
that
open
often.
super late.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
You can go to a Country Club at any time. I think it was 24 hours actually.
Kind of wish I would have gone there
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
Our family
Those
was
are
far
apps.
away from it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was great.
Good
I miss
time.
Yeah,
arcades
Country
a
Club.
lot.
me too.
too.
I miss.
And I've gone to Golfland for a birthday recently. Like within the last
It's been
2-3
disappointing,
weeks,
right?
it was really disappointing.
Yeah.
They have
That's,
Like, this is the best day ever.
they had a
So-
big competitive 4-player Pac-Man experience on this gigantic ass
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
That was kind of fun.
That's cool.
Other than that, though, I was
Yeah.
pretty disappointed.
They have that at Dave and Buster's. Dave and
Ooh, also
Buster's.
air hockey. You can't get it home. You
Yeah.
can, but it's like not the same.
Well, they
Yeah.
have air hockey you can buy, and that's like billiards kind of. You can.
Trying to
but-
jack off the microphone sideways
Yeah.
with the Captain America move. The old
Dave
CA.
and Buster's was disappointing too because I went to Dave and Buster's thinking like
Yeah.
this is gonna be sweet. It's all redemption games, man. Like
And you know what? It's all kids there. Like,
Yeah.
Dave
It's
and
loud
Buster's I
as
thought was supposed to be an
fuck.
adult place. Like,
Yeah.
because everywhere else they have Dave and Buster's, you have to be 18 to get in.
I just
But
sounded
at
really
this one,
old.
anybody can go in.
Dave
Yeah.
and Buster's it's okay.
That's the
but
marketing.
It's not. I wouldn't go there.
I tried to eat there one time and I felt really old because it was loud as fuck. I went in there and there was all these redemption games and wheels
Yep.
spinning with like multicolored things and like somebody trying to play what's that fucking game where Howie Mandel tries to get you to get money
Deal or
from
No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. Deal
But
or no deal and just you're trying to eat like this burger. I'm like I can't be in here. I can't
That's
stand
not
this.
old because, like, even if you think about older arcades, like, they were kind of loud, but they weren't that fucking loud. Like, walking into Dave & Buster's, every fucking game is, like, screaming in your face.
It's on
and
11.
just, like, you're not getting anyone's attention because everyone's drowning each other out.
Right.
So, I don't know.
It's kind of like this podcast sometimes, but not nearly as beautiful.
Aw.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's on fire, Aaron.
Let me tell you, I don't understand
Tell me.
why so many different arcade games you'd be like, all right, we got like 4 people, let's play like Gauntlet or whatever.
Yes.
Player 3, you can't go left. Like, who the fuck wore out player 3?
Yeah.
Did player 1 get fucked up and they're like, move it to 3, no one will use that one.
Right.
And then 3's like, guys, I can't go left.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm
Valkyrie,
dead.
get over here. I
Yeah.
can't turn. This thing is broken.
I'm
Nothing
running
was
into a wall,
more-
I'm stuck in a corner. I'm stuck. You guys want to just kill me? and move
Nothing
on?
was more frustrating being a kid with super limited funds.
Yeah.
You pop in 50 cents into a game and that
Mhm.
shit is broken.
You just tell
I
them. it
hate
didn't
it.
work.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Guitar Hero. Don't ever trust a Guitar Hero machine because that shit
What,
is
Golfland?
instantly broken.
Fucking Golfland shit was always broken. I used to love
Drum Mania
guitar, or
and
Guitar
Guitar
Freaks.
Freaks.
Yeah.
Guitar
Yep.
Freaks was my
Never
shit.
worked. You had to go
Never
get the
worked.
shitty drumsticks that were like all dirty and
Yeah.
like snotty.
You had to bring
and
your
shit.
own drum.
How did those
Yeah.
get black? They started like drumsticks. They got
Be
black from
surprised.
like
'Cause they
somebody was
also
like
had
rubbing
Sunsplash.
resin on it and
Because
shit.
people are scumbags. That's how I
Yeah.
got. That's how I got.
They had to like
Fans
intentionally ruin it because it's not
of
just from use.
Scum.
Ah, I
So,
don't understand.
It is sad that arcades aren't what they used to be. You know, interestingly, and Irene might be able to attest to this, but
gray mare,
I-
ain't what she used to be.
Ain't what she used to be.
Ain't what
he gets his own public access TV show.
Jasper.
And now the Pants's dancer or whatever, like
Oh man, dancer.
there's like
Oh,
12 of them.
man.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So
I
gross.
wanted to point out, lastly, that arcades aren't dead everywhere because
Mm.
in Japan, them
Oh,
shits,
Right. They have
Them-
entire districts
Wow.
devoted to that
them
shit.
shits are alive and kicking. So like my
We
favorite
We all just
part,
need to move to Japan and do this podcast there professionally.
Yeah.
People would listen. We'd play games.
Okay.
my favorite
That's a good
part,
life.
that was, and I'm not even ashamed to say that, but like my favorite part about going to Japan a couple months ago was the arcades. I loved
Yeah.
going to the arcades. You
They're
can like
amazing.
every
You
time I
recaptured
had-
something uncapturable here.
Every time I had a spare hour or so, or you know, just spare evening when we didn't have anything planned, like tourism stuff planned, you know, like we weren't visiting something or going on some sort of attraction, we would just walk to wherever. Like if we were in Tokyo, we'd walk to Akihabara, or if we were in Osaka, we'd walk to
You always,
Zentown. But
I
like,
should remember it too, and I always want to call it Automataguchi, and then when I start thinking about Automataguchi songs, I'm like, all right, and then I get distracted.
oh yeah, more racism out of just.
It's
But,
true.
uh,
It doesn't stop, really. I'm just like a constant fire stream of racism.
It was just very cool to see the arcades like so like thriving in
Mhm.
Japan. Like there was it's 8-story tall buildings, and every floor is arcade games, and they're all just full of people playing the shit.
Beautiful.
People would walk into arcades after work. Like you know, there's fighting games
I just
there
need
that
to
are just
unwind.
people are playing
Exactly.
That's
fighting
cool.
games. People are playing. They have arcade games there that are like I was talking about that you can only get in arcades. A lot of them. There's this game. Okay. Speaking of dual wielding, and you should look up a game called Infinite Stratos 2. Stratos like Stratos 2. In that you're it's third person, but the controller is 2 like handguns, but they have this. They're like futuristic looking, but they have a piece on the sides of the guns that you can actually connect the guns like Power Ranger style.
Yeah, it's
and you
killer.
put them together, and then it forms like in the game like a more powerful gun.
Where you
Huh.
still have to use 2 hands for the triggers.
You do.
It's
You do.
so weird.
But
Who cares?
But who
it
cares
was-
because your bullets are this big.
It was super cool. And they had this Gundam game, like Gundam Extreme Versus, like
Could you be Death Scythe?
you could be Death Scythe.
I'm all about that.
Death Scythe.
Death
But-
Face.
There's a Sega building in Akihabara that had this Gundam game. Normally you can just play it on like a normal ass screen, but in this they put it in these like VR, like half dome
Rad.
screened like capsules that you'd get into, and it would replicate like it looked like you were playing Steel Battalion. Like there's all buttons and like joysticks, and like the screen when you sat in it, it wrapped around you with a half dome. And so it was like Oculus Rift, basically. I mean, you're in there, and you're just fucking in the fucking world. It was crazy.
That's a cultural marker that I respect the fuck out of Japan for having. Like, we lose little bits of ourselves here that make, like, it's little things that made the 80s the best or the 90s the best or something like that. And we just leave them in the dust and be like, that's an old hat. But, you know, instead, some other country runs off with it, and you're just like,
Well, it has to do also.
we should have been better. We should have gotten
It's their
better.
their their culture, the way that their everyday lives progress. I mean, they're always walking and taking public transportation,
Right.
and they live so close to everything.
We
because
should
it's
get
so
better.
Dense.
This
Well, everything
is
here
just in the
is
cities.
Right.
right. This is in the major cities, but everything's
Yeah.
so sparse here.
Right.
You have to drive everywhere. So you're gonna go home. You're gonna after work, and then you're telling me you're gonna get in your car and drive to an arcade to play games when you have games at home now that are better graphics than what they have in arcades now.
That's
So like
true.
that's the problem.
That was also hard when games went from arcade to home, and I was just like, I'm Paperboy whenever I want. Like,
Right.
I don't have to pay
Not
quarters
with a-
anymore. I can just play
not with
Paperboy.
bike
now.
handles and shit. Like
No,
in
not
the
with bike
arcade.
handles now. But
The other thing about it is when I was at the arcades in Japan, there were like no children. They were
Oh,
all
yeah.
teenagers
That's
or
very
adults
true. That's very
playing,
true. I don't think I
so-
ever saw a kid in an arcade. There were
Yeah.
kids arcades actually.
Yeah.
Our kids just like being really studious over there until you hit teenagers,
No,
and you're like, man, it's time to fuck off and do some video games. And
I just think they didn't have a lot of like kid-centric games.
Right.
They
All the
were
kids
more,
that
like,
are there are marketed for an older crowd.
you grow up
Yeah.
into Guilty Gear, but like before
Oh,
you just
Guilty Gear.
right.
and
Fucking-
it,
I played Guilty Gear third or whatever,
Xrd.
X3.
I don't know if
But-
we have a Guilty Gear cabinet
Oh,
existent in the United States right
I'm
now.
so happy that's coming over because I played the shit out of that when I was in Japan and I loved it, man. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna get a PS. The game's on PS4. I will buy PS4 specifically for that game.
Right.
It's on PS3 also. And it's the same game.
You'll get PS4 for it.
Oh,
That's the
fucking
system
totally,
seller.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
to me it's a system seller.
Yeah.
so you went to Odaiba, you went
Yeah.
to Diver City, right?
Yeah.
So they had. Did you go to the arcade in there?
I went to a couple arcades in that.
Oh, okay. We only went to one. But it was in Diver City, and I noticed when we were in there that there were a lot of like couples that went there. So I think it's
There
also
were.
a popular date place because half of that arcade was claw machines, and
Did
then
you-
the other half was.
Oof.
In Odaiba, they had that retro arcade though. Did you go to that one?
I didn't go to that. We only went to the.
It was
one
so
in Diver
cool.
City.
All the games in this arcade were all from like the 80s and 70s. Even like the redemption games that they had there weren't really you weren't winning tickets, but they had like old 70s like redemption games like with like the baseball. They're all mechanical, they're not electronic, and it was really cool. It's pretty cool.
The other thing I noticed was that they have a lot of like multiples of games, so that it could be like 2-player or
Oh, yeah.
4-player without
Yeah.
being at the same cabinet. Like you could sit and they would be on the other side, and you couldn't actually see them face to face, so you could play against them. So I think there's also like this competitive culture. And for the game that you were talking about, the Gundam game, they have a spectator aspect to
Oh,
it,
hell
right?
yeah,
they
they do. A lot
broadcast
of
it on the
games have that.
television. Yeah, because my husband played that game, and some other guy was watching him play, and I didn't realize it until he was done.
Yeah.
But I think that's also another aspect to why arcades are popular in Japan too, because it's like a communal thing. It's like a
Sure.
watering.
To pull it back into that, that's probably more interesting than the games at the arcades, because the games were around, but the fact that it drew people together like it did, like people would wait up around you to watch first how good you are, and then be like, hey, I got like put your quarter on the little slot and be like, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me next. Like, and then it's just like almost a relationship. Like you would meet a girl and do the thing, like that person is now against you.
Mhm.
That's a connection that we don't have again nowadays.
Yeah.
Nothing
Indeed.
spontaneous like that where it's like, I've just seen this dude fight. I want in. Like, I could take that guy.
I'd like to
I
give it a
would-
shot.
That's cool, though.
I might learn something from his
That was really
fireball
cool.
spam.
And the
I thought.
other thing I missed from arcades is that you didn't really have a lot of shit talkers because y'all were face to face. Now on Xbox Live
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit, like
Right.
talk so much shit, but
I
I
had
was
a-
saying it to my face. you know.
7 years old and you
It
got
happened to
a
me.
mouth like a sailor.
It happened to me. Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out on PS3 and
Already?
Yeah, they came
Like
out
within
of-
this week, this has happened to you?
Yeah,
Damn.
and so I played like the first night I played it.
Huh.
I beat some guy. I used T-Hawk. I used Thok.
Nice.
Right?
Thok all day.
Fucking hard.
Totally Hawk. But
Totally
I beat this guy, and he sent me a PSN message, and I'm thinking, like, it's gonna be. I didn't expect it to. I thought it was a good. I thought it was
Friend
a good
request.
match.
He's like, you're really good.
I thought it was gonna be something
Right.
semi-friendly, but no, he was
GGPO.
just.
Guess
extreme-
what, cock ass? You're a fuck stain. Get out of my life, jerk. Way to beat me.
It was something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, basically just
Angry rage.
racial slurs, questioned my sexuality, told me I'm.
Which race?
You know, they were girl.
You black motherfucker. You're like, I am not remotely black.
Kinda. North Islands.
North Islands.
North Islands. No.
Somebody from North Islands doesn't like you.
Noir file.
Anyway.
But nobody did that in
I-
arcades. They'd get mad and they'd walk away.
Right.
There
you
weren't
know,
many
but-
fights in arcade. I don't think I saw many fights. And if they were, it was usually because that beef existed before the arcade.
Right.
And yeah, so. But
That
anyway,
was so funny to watch the self-control on people too. Like
Mhm.
try to contain themselves so hard that you just had to steam and walk away.
Yeah, and the
It was
people
amusing
that
to
were
me.
good, they weren't like the ones that I knew weren't like egotistical bastards. They were kind of humble, you know.
It's because you have that. You're facing that person literally in person. So like,
Right.
it's not this veil of anonymity that people have on the internet. So they think that there's no consequences and they can just be a complete piece of shit to everybody that they play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even about competition. It's about being better than this person and then talking down to them after you beat them. And that's what like the teabagging and the
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just all
less sportsmanship. Whereas in real life, it was very sportsmanlike, where you could almost put on a show where you have these people and it's this match, 7 people crowd around you, and now it's the spectacle where you have to watch, who is going to win at Street Fighter, and then best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Like,
it's good.
now that's happening, and now we don't have that. When you're online, you don't get to spectate on
face-to-face.
those. You just have some dude drop into your room, like either success or defeat, but it means nothing to you, and then on to the next one.
Some games let you spectate, but it's not the same watching on the TV without the people here.
Right.
So the internet is a poor replacement.
Piss poor replacement.
Yeah, for
I will say.
actual arcades, but it's all we got now in this country.
It's sad.
But
To
I'd
wrap
love to
up,
open my own arcade.
fucking
one day.
Ricky,
That'd
I
be
would
great.
support you.
That'd be great.
Kickstarter. Kickstart that shit. You'd be like, hey,
Start opening an
arcade.
Good luck.
That'd be
I
successful.
know.
No, yeah. Anyway, we miss arcades. Wish they'd come back, but they're not gonna. So
Bringing it back. We've turned this into a bringing it back. I wish arcades were still here.
yeah.
Arcades
Anyway,
are the best thing that we should
that's
bring back.
it. Let's move on into topic the next.
The next
is
the main event for this eve, which is E squared, triple E,
E squared.
E3, or
That's
E
not
cubed,
squared.
E squared. E equals MC cubed squared.
E3 just finished up.
It did just finish
It's all
up.
hot on our minds.
Somebody told me Thursday. I thought it was Friday, but I guess Thursday was the
Yeah.
last little bit of news.
Yeah.
Just a quick roll call again. Who followed any bit of it? You've followed some.
I followed the shit out of E3
Okay,
every day.
none at all.
I've heard like a snip and that.
Okay, so just hearsay.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing good.
And then you didn't follow because you didn't care.
I followed what was on my Facebook feed.
Okay, which is some. That's hearsay as well. So you're kind of on level ground with you two
Sort of, yeah.
about announcements.
Did you set up a trivia like in secret?
No.
Set up a
That
secret
would be
E3
so-
trivia? Like, oh, so you guys don't really know a lot.
Nintendo's leading
Well.
property that they just came out with was Aaron. Go.
The Wii U 2.
Nope.
Wii U 2.
Wii U.
U.
Wii U. Woo.
Wii U.
The Wii W.
Oh, god damn it.
The Wii Me.
Wii. They did announce the hardware. They announced amiibos.
They did. They announced basically little Skylanders
Skylanders.
figures
By
for like
Nintendo.
Mario and Zelda and
You
stuff
know,
that you can play in
those
Mario Kart or in Smash.
Goddamn
Now-
Skylanders and
Just to be a good
shit.
testament, because Aaron works at a toy store.
Yeah,
How well do those things sell?
incredibly.
Just at a retail store.
Disgustingly well.
Still
Why?
sells.
I don't know.
It's horrible.
Because people want to buy the game 3 more times after they buy the game.
Right.
And that's why the amiibo thing, I think, is going to be a genius move, because
Oh yeah.
this whole NFC crap, like the whole Toys to Life shit, is really popular right now with Skylanders and with Disney Infinity.
Right.
And Nintendo's, brand recognition, those characters are gonna. I feel like it's gonna sell.
And they're cracking it open to a whole bunch of. You buy one toy, it goes into Mario
Several
Kart,
different games, yeah.
Smash Brothers, Mario
Exactly.
Party 10,
whatever. Yeah,
whole bunch of different
That's
shit. So it's
nice.
they'll get people to buy them.
I'm not interested in it personally, but it's not marketed towards our age group. But I
No.
feel like from a business standpoint, I think it's probably a smart move.
It's very smart,
Nintendo's
and they
trying to
need
make some
money
money
right now.
for it.
Yeah.
Nintendo, actually, speaking of that, I was going to ask Justin, out of the big 3, Nintendo, Sony, and
Nintendo.
Microsoft, you know what I'm going to ask?
Nintendo.
Seriously, right?
It's Nintendo. Well, it was a
Isn't that
walk away
weird?
victory. Like they just.
Isn't that weird, though? Now, let me ask you, pre-E3, if I asked you the same question, what would you have said?
I would have said probably Microsoft this year.
Okay,
Because Sony's coming off of a win, and I think they'd get a little cocky. There are patterns that you can watch for,
Sure.
and Ryan
No.
Ryan watches them a little closer than I do.
I know, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you see these things, so I would have thought that Microsoft would have come through with some stuff, and I
This
have a
was-
theory about why Nintendo did so well. They blew their wad at E3,
Yeah,
where there's still Gamescom.
Yep.
And there's still
Tokyo Game Show.
the girly
and
show,
The girly show. Yeah.
TGS, coming up this year. Like, in, what was it, September, and then also October? September, October, I think?
Something like that.
Or August and October. So
Something like
2 cons left. Nintendo's not showing up.
So
They're not going to present stuff there.
I have a question. So how long have these trade shows been around in comparison to E3? These other ones. Because E3, from what I thought was kind of the big deal, like for a long
That's the
time.
Comic-Con.
It is, but it's
E3
actually fairly
Yeah, exactly.
recent as well, right? Like
E3's
E3's not been
around.
along that
No,
long.
E3's been around for a long time.
How long?
Let me look it up. But
At least
Not like
a
25
decade.
years.
well,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't know,
not like
not 25
not
years.
like 25 years though. They haven't reached like this.
But,
But
when,
like a decade, 10 years, it's still kind of a baby for conferences.
I know in
so.
2004 it was still a big fucking deal to be able to go to E3.
Yes.
So, whereas like Tokyo Game Show, stuff like that,
Those are
was,
newer.
like, peripheral,
Yeah.
to E3. Like that was the place where you did blow your load. Like,
Right.
1995, so almost 20 years.
Goodness. Okay, so it's longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I can kind
Um,
of see. I mean, even though it's kind of, I don't think it's the same anymore. E3, like there was a period of time where it just kind of like was not even, nobody gave a shit.
Well, it's a conference. But now it's a carnival.
Well,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a show where you're like, hey, guess what, guys? Oh, this thing's coming out. And it's
So I
the newest
think-
gimmick or the whatever, but it's not like, this is what we're trying to do, this is what's cool or whatever. Like, it's not a conference anymore.
Yeah, but I
it's a
think
spectacle.
it still carries some of that power, and that's why Nintendo wanted to do that at E3 and just ignore the other two, because they knew they could just do that and then
Yeah.
it would get enough press coverage or whatever.
Well, here's the other thing is it's very expensive to have a press conference. So if you look at the Sony and the
Right.
Microsoft press conferences, they are spectacles. They are
They are.
massive, multi-million-dollar showcases.
Ubisoft
And-
put Aisha Tyler on the stage
Well,
for
Ubisoft and
90
EA
minutes.
as well. Yeah, I mean, and so
It's a
Nintendo's
spectacle. They're hiring
Nintendo's
actors.
looking at it and really saying, I mean, there's a lot to be said for a live press conference. It's specifically the crowd reaction. I think the crowd reaction is important.
Yes.
But like, they're looking at it and they're like, look, we can spend $10 million and have a press conference and have a fancy big giant screen and celebrities and lasers, or
Right.
we can have a Nintendo Direct and spend like $300. And
They said they were going to do this before, too. They said we're
oh,
going to have a
they did it-
90-minute
yeah,
whatever
they did it
coverage of
last
one
year.
game, and then they didn't do that necessarily. But it was a more meager show than any kind of huge, like, drop the lights, do this thing. Oh, shit, No Man's Sky! It was just like, there's this thing that we're going to do. Guess what it is? It's probably the next Zelda. You're probably going to like it. Like,
They did their digital press conference was just as effective, really. I mean,
yeah.
it was cheap and they conveyed information to the consumer. I mean, that's the whole point of it, right?
Yeah.
Treated it more a little bit like a conference, I'd say.
Oh yeah, they called it a digital conference, is what they called it.
Right.
But so it's weird, but yeah, I mean, I would have said honestly, who would have won prior to E3? I would say Microsoft specifically
Yeah.
because they've got the most room to make up on.
Right.
If they're going to come out this time, and if they're smart, they're going to say,
They'll come out
look,
swinging.
games. No Connect, no bullshit.
Which
games.
they did,
They did that.
but they didn't run away with it.
They didn't run away with it because they didn't have, at least in my opinion, they didn't have a solid enough lineup. They didn't have good enough games.
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
the stuff that they announced really. I mean, for me personally, the Halo collection, which I could really care a little bit less about.
The
They
Dead
had-
Rising DLC,
Dead
which
Rising
everybody
DLC.
flipped for, but that's a band-aid for a bad game.
Well, and also,
I'll say, in my opinion.
but I think more importantly that they announced that it's multi-platform.
Right.
So like now you don't need an Xbox One to play Dead Rising 3. It's going to be on Steam. So the other thing is that okay, so Halo and then Fable, and
Right.
then Forza, and then like I don't know, like I'm not really into. So if you look at their exclusives,
right.
Sunset Overdrive, which
Mhm.
looks good, but
Oh, Project Spark was kind of cool.
Project Spark looks
But
good.
they fucked that up with Conquer. Because they
Well-
came through and they went like, hey, Conquer or whatever. And then Conquer came out, said a few words. You think you're getting a Conquer game because he set it up. And then he goes like, well, look for me in Project Spark. You're like, fuck you. Why?
Do you really want a Conquer game?
Everybody did. I don't. But
Because Conquer to me is like Banjo-Kazooie, where it's like
I can't talk to you about this. I can't talk to you about this.
it's a rare platformer that I don't think was any good to begin. I don't know, man. But anyway, that's
I don't appreciate Conquer in the same way that I appreciate Banjo-Kazooie.
Can Conquer, like everybody had this, it was funny, but it was funny because you were 12 and he's doing fart jokes.
Yeah, he was like, ugh, poo.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I
Squirrel
never
said
played
poo.
Conquer, but I was hella jealous that a friend of mine, for like a school project, was talking about video games and was able to rent and play through Conquer as a group with his group and then talk about it in school. And I'm like, aw, I don't even know what I did for my thing. It was fucking bullshit.
Conquer
Aw.
was the right game for the right time for the right people. Because
Right.
kids wanted a mature game, and it was a mature game that didn't look like it was a mature game for a system that all the kids already had, a 64. And
right.
So, it just did a good job of being what kids want to play. Because kids always want to play what they're not supposed to fucking play. That's why the most prominent players on fucking Call of Duty and shit are always 12-year-old kids.
Right.
But
they've already got their
they're not
outlets.
supposed
Nobody's
to play
looking for
that shit.
Conquer anymore.
But anyway, Microsoft didn't have a strong enough lineup to keep me, for me to say that they had a strong lineup, just not
It was okay.
great. I don't think it was great.
They also pulled a lot of games into their press conference that were weird to pull into their press. They were like, yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity, whereas you could have like done a lot of personalized stuff to Microsoft and left Assassin's Creed Unity in the Ubisoft lineup, which is coming directly after your conference.
Right.
Like,
Well,
that's a Ubisoft game. That's where it belongs.
I never understand.
And they're gonna present it.
You're right, because I never understand them putting multi-platform games, giving them a big chunk of time like that, when it's going to be on their competitor's machine as well. Like, what? Why? So
Yeah.
that's not going to make me want to buy an
You're
Xbox
wasting
One.
life, yeah.
It might make me want Assassin's Creed Unity, which it didn't. No, but
Different podcast.
different podcast. But
Yeah. I don't know.
no. But anyway, Sony.
weird.
I feel like Sony
Make some weird choices.
their content was okay, but their presentation was boring. And I think that it got to the point to where they're doing like these slides of numbers, like
Yeah.
70 million consoles. Like, people don't care how many consoles you sold. We
You
want to
just
see.
showed me a pie chart. You lost this conference.
Right. Then the guy talked about Vib Ribbon. You guys know what Vib Ribbon is?
You
yes.
do.
Right.
That's
But
Irene.
Here's what he talked about Vib Ribbon.
You better not slander it.
Don't say an unkind word.
I like Vib Ribbon, and the guy who was talking about Vib Ribbon
I do
loved
not
Vib
know
Ribbon. It's a game that never came out in America.
Oh.
But
He didn't like go into it though. He just referenced it.
he
Right?
just
He's
referenced it, but then he was like, "Yeah, Vib Ribbon was awesome." So here's something that's not related anyway.
Right.
And he's talking, I think I went
What's
to
up?
No Man's
I'm Tony.
Sky.
This thing. My favorite game is Vib Ribbon. Anyway, there's this thing. And you're like, what's that? What are you
I
doing?
could say something about his personality, but
'Cause I was
nobody
ex-
fucking cares about his
I
personality.
was expecting him to say
Right.
something about Vib Ribbon, and then he doesn't. But anyway,
This podcast
Is
has
that
next to
something
nothing
about
to do
my-
with skeletons, and I told you about that.
so yeah.
That's because we deeply want to know who you are, and you're gonna explain more skeletons later. Whereas
Inside
that
of a
guy,
skeleton.
Vib Ribbon, and then done.
I don't want to go so much about the press conferences. I just want to talk about the new games that they announced that look awesome. Right? So
yes.
like,
The games that are worth talking about, we should talk about here.
PlayStation 4
Sure.
has The Order, which I think looks pretty sweet, except
I'm not on board, but
here's
whatever.
what it looks like. It looks like it plays like Uncharted, which I'm on, which I like. It's
A
over the
bit,
shoulder.
yeah.
That
It's over the shoulder.
That gunplay they showed reminded me of Uncharted. I like the visual presentation and I like the content. I'm interested in that game. I wouldn't buy a PS4 for it, but if I had a PS4, I feel like I'd buy that game.
I don't know why I'm not interested in it. It feels like there's London
It's
and
pretty early.
werewolves and stuff. I think I would like that.
Yeah.
The content I don't really care about,
That's
which is
alright.
interesting.
Something
I feel like I should.
about like when I see like this is a guy playing a game. Here we're gonna show it off, and the guy is fucking terrible. It just makes me not like the game. And whatever video footage I saw of somebody playing
Right.
that game, he was just like poo pew pew, like drawing circles around people's heads who were stationary. I'm like, fuck you doing? Shoot the guy.
Excellent.
Are you playing on easy as hell?
Excellent segue into Little Big Planet 3. Sony. That demo went horribly. They brought two people on to showcase Little Big Planet 3, which should look incredible. Then it's looking like the old generation. It looks like Little Big Planet 2 to me. They bring out like 4 friends, Sackboy friends, and be like, you don't need to do this. And then they bring 2 people on that can't play the game. They don't know how to wall jump. They're doing the thing. You're just like, when you hit the wall, you press X again to like get off. It just spends like 5 minutes trying to get through this one part of the level. And you're just like, you could kill the tech demo right now because you're losing people. And it was hard to watch.
So as
Anyone out of the crowd, give it a
Or like hand it off to another one of the devs that was nearby that was
It's
just like,
too late.
here you go. It was too late.
Too late. But no, as E3 was going, as the press conference has ended, I was writing. I made a list of like the exclusives that they announced, and so here's Sony's exclusives, and it's not that big, man. Like, I don't know. So here's
No.
their exclusives. They announced The Order,
Hmm.
Entwined, which actually came out the day they announced it.
Right. But you're not
Infamous
extra
First
interested in it.
No, Entwined looks great.
Yeah.
I thought-
I mean, for you might.
Oh, I thought it looked. I thought it looked
I was
cool.
watching. I was like, okay.
Entwined looks like it's another journey. No, not quite the scope of journey, but more like a flower or a flow.
Yeah, I didn't get into those as
Okay.
much as I did Journey.
Infamous First Light, which is a standalone expansion. I don't even think
I thought it was DLC. Is it standalone?
I
You play as
don't want to confirm that, but
Fetch, one of the characters in there. I thought it was just their first DLC pack.
I thought that it was a standalone. But I mean, it's not. It's a standalone DLC. Like you don't have. It's like $15 like they did with like
Right.
Blood Dragon and
Burial at Sea.
Burial at Sea. Yeah. So.
I think Burial at Sea was standalone.
What?
I don't think Burial at Sea was
I
standalone.
thought it was. Either way,
Can you just buy Burial at Sea?
I thought you could.
Yeah.
When I play it, I load it up from Bioshock. I don't load
Oh.
Burial at Sea. I open Bioshock, go to downloadable content, and load.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
see.
either way, Infamous First Light was announced. Little Big Planet 3, Bloodborne, which if you guys aren't familiar,
That
with,
looks pretty cool.
It's
Bloodborne
another Dark Souls.
is formerly
Demon's Souls, yeah.
Project Beast.
Right.
Let It Die, which is the new Suda 51 game.
Right.
That's exclusive. Which
Right.
That's great. For me, that was a big deal. Abzu, which looks like the fucking scariest game in the world to me because it's underwater giant sea creatures.
I can't play that. You and me, we have the phobia. I can't
fuck
play that
that.
game.
That's not
I
a
can't
phobia.
play that
That's
game.
justified. That's
Okay.
I know what's
justified
going to be. Can
I
we
was very
quickly-
afraid of that.
we talked about that already, but that Oculus Rift Shark Tank demo, fuck that. I'm never playing that game.
Nah.
I'm never buying an Oculus Rift now.
No?
Just because it exists.
I was going to invest, and now
It's gonna
no.
come bundled with the software.
It's gonna
Flip
come
over when I don't want it.
Because they're going to release a game called Behemoth, and they're going to put me in a fucking Shark Tank, and something 8 stories long is going to flow out from under me, and I'm going to shit
It's
my
not even-
pants
yeah.
in real time.
It's not even going to talk. It's not even going to interact with me. I'm just going to look down, see the silhouette
See
the
the-
size of a fucking Empire State
I'm like,
Building.
no! Have a heart attack and die in an Oculus Rift.
Throw the Oculus Rift across the room. No, so Abzu, which is called, and The Last of Us Remastered, and then Uncharted 4. Those were their exclusives.
And Uncharted 4, half of those showed no gameplay. It
Now,
was just some cinematic
Here's
announcement.
the worst part is, like, none of these games except for like The Last of Us and Entwined are actually coming out this year. That kind of pissed me off. I
That's
think
the
maybe
running theme of
Infamous-
E3, though. Nothing
Yeah.
comes out this year.
Nothing comes out this entire year. I was a little bummed about
There's
that.
a couple
but-
of games, but that, you
I
know.
mean, I'd rather stuff. I think we'd all rather stuff take longer to come out if it's going to be better when it hits. But like at the same time, you got to have some reason for us to want.
It
gotta have
feels like the market's
some
relying on Destiny
thing
to
done.
tide us over until 2015.
And Destiny is on the multi-platform list. So
Right, so, but I mean, that keeps everybody tied over.
did you take a look at Bloodborne, Aaron?
A little bit. I saw like a little bit of gameplay footage,
a little
and I'm
bit.
like, oh. It looks. I heard like at least they didn't show any shields and there's no blocking. I never blocked in the first
It
place.
seems like a U game.
Like, I think it looks cool. It makes me think of Nightmare Creatures.
Interesting.
Because it like
It's true.
Nightmare
The-
Creatures
the-
was all like Victorian
Yeah.
nonsense, and I'm like, oh,
Did you like Nightmare Creatures?
I did.
Okay.
I was bad at it, but I liked it.
Did
a
you like
lot.
number 2?
Didn't play 2.
Good.
I didn't know there was number 2.
Hell yeah, it's number
That's
2.
crazy.
I didn't like it. But
Nightmare
anyway,
Creatures 2.
Nightmare
Dream
Creatures was legit.
Splash.
God, I was bad at that game. It was hard. Maybe I was just really bad at it and it wasn't that
Nah,
hard.
it was pretty hard, I think.
Alright.
But Bloodborne seemed kind of cool. I like the setting. You have like a little blunderbuss.
You got your coat, the coat with
yeah.
like the little, like the tiniest cape, like a half foot of cape, whatever that is on like the old Victorian coats. I love
Yeah.
that, like just below your shoulders. You're just like, this is to keep the rain extra off.
That's funny.
It wicks away moisture from my back
Oh,
shoulder. Yeah, from my
from-
shoulder blade.
From people who played it, they said instantly it felt like Demon Souls as far as
Looks
like
like Demon's
movement
Souls.
and control.
Yeah.
So if that's it's another Souls game, it's just about the Souls
That's-
name tagged onto
That's
it.
becoming its own genre. Like, they're throwing and lumping so many games. They're like, oh,
It's
man, that game took off with this, like, niche of gamers, and then, that keeps growing. We should just make every game like this.
It's
so you've got, like,
interesting.
7,
Get that
8
Call of Duty
games
money.
now that are
The
out
whole,
of that.
the whole Souls thing is interesting because Demon Souls happened and then Dark Souls happened, and Dark Souls 2, but like
Right.
this game is made by the creator of Demon Souls and the first Dark Souls. Because Dark Souls 2 wasn't made by that guy; it was made by a separate team.
Right.
This guy, he went on to make Bloodborne, and so really because Demon Souls is not Dark Souls; it's its own thing.
Right.
So really,
With
within
little like
Similar,
tie-ins
though.
or nods or tips of the
Right.
hat
It's
or
pretty
whatever.
similar.
we've got 3 separate, Souls.
Dragon's
games.
Dogma isn't that, but it feels like it in a lot of senses.
Dragon's Dogma.
Deep Down is coming,
Mm.
which
Deep
is
Down.
almost that.
Dragon's Dogma is my shit.
Yeah,
But no,
you
Deep
love
Down
that
was
game.
actually that was actually something I wanted to know. Was Deep Down was nowhere to be seen at this conference
Which was weird.
because they showed it playable last year.
They did.
They had people playing it on video at least. I'm not sure if that was on the floor, but they have gameplay video of that game. Like where is it? I thought they had a release date for that game too. I want to say it was March.
It felt like it was far away. Like when
Right.
they released it, they're just like coming
Yeah.
year and a half, 2 years from now, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Coming?
Anyway.
Question mark.
All right, so let's talk about Microsoft's exclusive.
Talking about Microsoft.
I was gonna say, I don't know if this is gonna be a Microsoft exclusive. I doubt it, considering the nature of it. But speaking of things that we saw and then haven't seen a gameplay of, did they mention Star Wars Battlefront 3 again?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They showed
That'll be
footage-
multi-platform for the
It
for
is
the two.
multi-platform.
I figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
They showed a
They showed a very
it was a
brief
teaser. It wasn't
alpha
a trailer,
demo.
Yeah.
It was like a pre-rendered AT-AT, like doing his thing with like in grayscale, doing his thing across this tundra that's not rendered at all, and then like a speeder
Well,
bike.
it was almost like a behind the scenes. It was almost
Yeah.
like a
For a
developer
second.
commentary. Like they were making it, and they have like footage of them making it on their like actual dev workstations and stuff.
Right.
They're just showing that it's being made. It's being made on.
Giving us taste that it's coming.
It's being made on Frostbite,
Yes.
so it's going to look fantastic.
Working off Battlefield 4's engine.
Yeah.
So it
And Dragon
should
Engine.
look pretty
It's
good.
a Dragon Engine
Hopefully
position
it's not
engine.
broken as fuck when it releases. It
Hopefully
doesn't
it's
need like
not.
8 patches over
I don't
6
know.
months.
It's not. At least it's not fucking made by Ubisoft. You guys, I haven't talked to you guys. I talked to you about it, right? This is. I got Watch Dogs on
You
PC.
did, and it
oh my god, it's
broke
been the worst
you.
gaming experience I've ever fucking had.
If it's any
Can't
consolation,
play it. It blue screens my computer upon launch, and I can get it working a little bit, but then like 20 minutes in, it just blue screens. It blue screens my computer. It doesn't just crash the game; it crashes my entire computer.
The game is hacking itself so hard.
what is this,
Yeah.
1995?
It's just bullshit, and it's
It
not
breaks
just
your
me. Like
computer.
I thought it was me because if it's a blue screen, I'm like, okay, my hardware is probably fucked. And I spent hours troubleshooting it, and I went on some forums, and it's widespread. I mean, it's widespread for like ATI car. I don't want to go into
You go all the
details.
way through the forums and it just says known issue.
There's a lot of people who are
Damn
complaining
it.
about it, but it's been shitty.
I want to ruin that for you or for anybody out in the land of the world and the internet, but I've heard that the story is like not
Straight
worth it.
boo-boo.
Straight boo boo.
Yeah,
Like trade this game.
I can tell.
Gameplay's fun, story not at all.
I've played it overall. When I've gotten it to work, I played it for like 2 hours, and I like the gameplay of it, but it is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. It's not on the same scope that I thought it was going to be. Like the trailers make it sound like it was going to be this crazy, like hacking, magical wonderland, but it's not really. Like I don't know. It's
Where you
more.
hack
It feels like
downtown
it feels
Detroit.
like a GTA game.
Hmm.
It looked
But-
a little boo-boo to me.
It's okay. I
Little
like
bit.
it. I don't think it's bad. It's just not revolutionary.
You wouldn't say boo boo?
I wouldn't say boo boo. I'd
Okay.
say
More
it's
honey.
aight.
It's not quite bootsy and not boo boo, but
It's cool.
okay.
It's
Maybe
cool.
It's
ratchet.
cool. So not great. It's not ratchet. It's not ratchet,
I hear
my
the word
friend.
so often now.
I don't even know. It came back around.
You don't even.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Microsoft stuff.
Sorry.
Here, Forza Horizon 2.
It's just too early, but the coastal stuff, it looks really pretty, and it's going to be open world, which is nice, like Horizon 1.
Xbox 360 also though, which is weird.
Yeah. So which
um,
means some people would argue that that's crutching on having the two still, like a leg in both worlds.
Well, you don't. Yeah.
I wouldn't argue that, but I would have thought that that would be a next-gen experience only, that they would have moved into the
You think they
Xbox One
want
by
to give
now.
people a reason to buy an Xbox One?
Yep.
But,
Yeah.
oh well. Sunset Overdrive. That's made by Insomniac.
Hella people looking forward to that, and
Looks
the
pretty good.
trailer was very, like, break the fourth wall fun.
I thought that game looked pretty
So
good.
I think that
it's-
one stole their show.
I thought Sunset Overdrive was probably their best showing.
Yeah.
Because it was different. You guys see Sunset Overdrive? It looks like Jet Grind Radio.
Looks stupid.
Meets
Ratchet
Team
and
Fortress
Clank.
meets- yeah.
Huh.
It's a multiplayer shooter.
Skating
but you
on,
can
like,
grind and shit's third person. It looks
yeah,
really cool.
skating on
It's
phone
vibrant.
lines and stuff while you're like shooting fucking vinyl discs down at zombies from
Yeah.
this thing and then like jumping on their heads and making them
So
explode.
it's just
weird.
supposed to be super preposterous and
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It
Seeing
just
that's
looked.
not prosperous?
It just looked like it was fun. And it was different. It wasn't. It was actually like colorful and lighthearted. It looked fun.
I'm not even really
Um,
into it, but that was their best showing.
there
I
was-
was most excited about that.
There was Fantasia, which is
There was
harmonics,
Fantasia mentioned. They're just like, hey guys, working on Fantasia.
Dance,
So our next game, like
Dance
just
Central
very,
was their
very
next game made by
briefly.
the same people. Fantasia and Central, Dance Central are made by Harmonix.
Right.
Fable Legends, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Fable Legends I want to talk about for just 2 seconds.
Okay.
They're, I don't want to say bastardizing the Fable name, but I loved 1. I liked 2 quite a bit. I disliked 3 quite a
Okay.
bit. And then as they successively go, I like Fable less and less
Yeah.
every time. This one is just like, hey, Fable's back. Play online with your people, and they pull back this thing. I'm like, Fable's now tower defense. I'm like, it's a fucking phone game.
Well,
They made Fable a phone game, like it's just a big tower defense thing. And I'm
Well,
a little
Tower
upsetted.
defender.
I will never.
Those towers.
I probably won't get an Xbox One, but I'm a little upsetted by what they did. But I mean, it makes sense. So
Halo, the Master Chief Collection, which is Halo 1 through 4.
that was completely predictable, though, because I think we already knew about that.
Yeah, it was just confirmed now here. And what they talked about was that they were keeping the exact multiplayer from those games intact.
That was the exciting part.
That seemed to be a big deal to a lot of people.
Because 2 was everybody's,
Is it
into
their
3,
favorite
but 2 was
because
that was their GoldenEye. That was their gaming experience.
It was like their first online multiplayer experience?
Kind
Or
of.
was it
And
that was good?
it was really good. It had all these good options.
Well,
it was kind of where you...
nostalgia,
I don't know how it's going to hold up for people. They go back to that and it looks really good in 1080p.
Yeah.
And they go through, like, no music. This was our favorite thing to do on 2 was, like, only the sword.
Yeah.
No sound whatsoever. Blood Gulch. And then you just, like, stalk each other. So you have no idea that something's coming from behind you. But everybody had their own thing. It was really creative. It was kind of like GoldenEye where you'd have your own little, like, hey... proximity mines only, and then it was like, yeah, it was a great time. But
now here's the.
I think that's what people are looking forward to.
These are the surprise ones for Microsoft. They announced the new Phantom Dust. Do you remember Phantom Dust?
Oh fuck! I remember Phantom Dust.
And it's a remake that they're making for Xbox One.
Oh fuck! I remember Phantom Dust.
Are you getting an Xbox One?
Shut up, me money.
I liked Phantom Dust a lot on Xbox original, and
I did.
so I was super happy that they're making a new Phantom Dust.
I did.
They announced a new Crackdown.
They did.
Saints Row 5.
They announced a new Crackdown, and they showed a cinematic, which makes it look like Saints Row 5.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Crackdown did it first.
They did this A-team looking ass CG, and
the one that surprised me more. Platinum is making a game exclusive to Xbox One, and it's called Scalebound. They showed a like a CG movie for. They didn't really show any gameplay, but it could be. It's Platinum, so like they don't make. I don't think they've ever made a bad game.
No. This looks like a bastardization or like a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff of several other games, but it's very Monster Hunter, and I figured you would love this.
There was monsters in the trailer, but
that were Monster Hunter, like that dragon in there that came through with his stuff and his big old shovel mouth. I was like, it's a Monster Hunter dragon. That's on the cover for 3.
Sure.
No.
If it plays like Monster Hunter, I'm all over it.
Right.
But the way that the character like they did like a Dante where like he's all stylish.
He's fucking wearing Dre beats.
Well, it shows like the monster comes into the screen and he's kind of looks kind of scared at first, but then he puts his headphones on and turns to the camera and like does this really purposely cheesy like smile and like a little shimmer on the end of it, and then he proceeds to like dance all over the fucking sword. He's not tripping. He's doing like Dante. Where these
crazy,
guys aren't even a challenge to him. He just starts fighting them. But could be cool. It's an interesting thing because it's a Japanese developed game exclusive for an Xbox One, and I don't think that's happened yet. Phantom Dust also actually, but Phantom Dust actually that property I think is owned by Microsoft.
It feels weird too. It's like a pretty obscure title for them to run back into the old logs and dig up again. They're just like, you know what? Nobody's been playing Phantom Dust. I remember kind of liking that.
Well, it's even weirder
because
because
a new one.
The first Phantom Dust was a Microsoft published game in Japan, but not in America. In America, Majesco published it because they didn't want to publish it. They didn't think it would do well. And so it's weird that they're bringing it back. Not that I'm complaining because I'm happy they're bringing it back. Let's move to the last company. Let's do Nintendo because
we should.
Nintendo's exclusive.
Ubisoft didn't do too much crazy stuff. They did more Division. They did some Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah.
They did some stuff. It was okay.
Hardline and.
Yeah. I had some stuff to say about Hardline. Right here is not the place.
I got into the beta for Hardline.
Did you?
And I've been playing it.
Are you impressed at all? Do you like it?
Yeah. I'm not impressed by it. I can't say dislike it. It's okay. It's adequate. It didn't wow me. I feel like the cops and robbers thing, at least in the stuff in the beta, there's zero, at least from what I can tell, there is zero difference between the cops and robbers. Like literally the only thing that changes is the color of your outfits, the paint on your car, and what it tells you your objectives are, even though those objectives are exactly the same.
Right.
Because when you're cops, it says secure the evidence, which is the money. And when you're thieves, it says steal the money, which is the exact same thing as what. But it's the same point that both teams are trying to get to. I mean, it's interesting. The layout's interesting because you're trying to get to the same point, take it, and then bring it back to your vault. For the thieves, it's the getaway car. For the cops, it's their, cop van or whatever. But it's the same shit. You're just not. Cops are still stealing the money. It's just they're saying securing evidence instead of stealing money. There's zero difference. Same gun, same car, same. I don't know.
We boiled it down to if you have GTA 5, you don't need this, or Payday 2. Like, you're going to be able to play a more complete experience heisting or doing stuff as a team, a 4-player team or whatever, in GTA, and your stuff is going to be better. Like, when you're driving a car, you don't have to, like, turn to see where you're going to go. You can just flip your right analog stick and look left. Like,
the other thing about it was, like, I don't know if it's because I've been playing... I don't play shooters a ton, but I have been playing a lot of Titanfall. I really like Titanfall.
Sure.
And, but I like it for its pace. It's fast-paced, and Battlefield feels like you're running... The Hardline feels like you're running through fucking molasses. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, and I don't play Battlefield games often, so maybe that's how it always feels, but it just felt slow, and I don't know. Like, if it's the beta, and I still feel like I got ripped off.
Let's pop the good conference.
What's that?
Let's pop through the good conference.
Nintendo. I don't have a list of the games written down, actually, because I watched this while I was at work, so I didn't do it. But, dude, let's start out real quick.
Dude.
It's not cool. It's not cool.
Sounds like it's cool. Yeah,
it was pretty good.
It's weird because we feel, Justin and I would agree that Nintendo won this show, hands down.
Hands down. And I'm happy because I just bought a Wii U, like, a little while ago, like a month or two ago. So good.
They did exactly what we wanted them to do. They came out and they said, here's games that you need to play on a Wii U. They announced a new Zelda game. They showed this new Zelda game. Have you seen the video for it? Have you seen the video for it?
Mm-hmm.
It's all
I saw a screenshot.
It's all kind of open worldy. I've taken to calling it Zelda Scrolls.
Yeah, I've heard that. Zelda Scrolls.
It's going to be good.
It looks phenomenal. It looks suspiciously phenomenal. I am so suspicious that game is going to look like that when it comes out.
It looked weird as fuck when it came out. I'm going to tell you why. This threw, like, I'll still play it, but it looked weird because it comes up with some Ghibli-looking, like, octopus monster, comes out of nowhere, spewing fire and lasers, chases him through a bridge, and then he jumps off, not in his normal uniform, which I'm okay with, pulls his bow, and then, like some weird steampunk-ass, like, arrows come out. I'm like, what is this?
You didn't like it?
It just confused me. I'm processing it still, to be honest.
I don't understand.
It was not the spirit of Zelda at all, I don't think. Like, not normal spirit.
Tradition. Zelda, and, you know, for me, there's a certain expectation for Zelda games. I play them for whimsy, and I play them for that, because they straddle the line between not being too cartoony but not being too adult.
Right.
And not being too realistic, you know. And I'm really afraid it's going to turn out to be another Twilight Princess, which I thought was boring as shit.
Interesting. I actually liked Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess was
I loved
fun
it.
At all.
I love Twilight Princess.
I'm glad you do, but I couldn't. It was just
Did you like Skyward Sword?
I didn't play Skyward Sword.
Okay, I was going to say, that one was boring as fuck to me. I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I just felt like nothing was happening and that everything was just like, not everything was serious, but it didn't have the same kind of or level of whimsy that a lot of older Zelda games had. So this is scaring me that they're relying so much on showing off, you know, the graphics and all that stuff. And when, to me, important things about the Zelda franchise are gameplay and story.
Right.
And I didn't get any of that from this trailer, so.
This is very, very early. This is like it says it wasn't CG, because all that was rendered, like each blade of grass was rendered. I'm like, beautiful, but there was no gameplay at all.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just kind of like, why are they concentrating on
camera angles and so.
You know, but
I'm kind of half in both worlds. Like, I'm pretty excited. I'll play it. I'm pretty reticent about some of the stuff, some of the choices that they've made, aesthetically and thematically.
I can tell you, in my opinion, I don't know. There was nothing about that trailer that I didn't like, because he announced
even Howl's Moving Castle trying to kill you with laser eyes.
Yeah, I really like that. Because it's not that I want more action-y Zelda, because the thing I enjoy the most about the Zelda is the puzzle solving and exploration.
Yeah. Right.
I don't care about the story of Zelda, really. It's more about the gameplay for me. It's more about the dungeon crawling and puzzle solving, which I'm sure will still be there. But now he's offering this. They're presenting it as an open world, which that actually scares me a little bit, because I did not like that about A Link Between Worlds. I thought that was actually a negative to that game. But
was that open world, would you say?
Open world in the sense that it wasn't linear. You can go to any dungeon in any order.
Okay.
And so
and they haven't said they're going to do that.
He said he's used the word open world.
Right.
And so we don't have enough information to
denotes
make
he might
call. Right.
Yeah, he might give you a little more option in your gameplay.
But open world usually indicates that there isn't going to be a set progression line for the story, right? It's non-linear. Yeah. Most open world games would be, at least. And so I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I'm excited to see that it's going to be a brand new, just Zelda game using new, like, the Wii U technology. Like, we don't have anything to showcase, like, this system's power, and I feel like that thing is going to be the first game and actually showcase it. But like I said, I'm real skeptical they're going to achieve with that level of fidelity that they showed in that trailer, or whatever.
Right.
I can see what you mean by the action and like that Ghibli style anime coming out and that bow, but like the outfit to me didn't bother me because the outfit kind of looked like the Twilight Princess opening outfit.
I think the only thing I'm scared about is the aesthetic thing. They're going to go way too hard on how it looks and make it look real. It's like, this is what the Wii U can do, and everything else suffers for it.
They've already pointed out that they never said that was Link. That was a thing. The producer, Eiji Aonuma, straight up said, people were asking, what is the thing? And he said, no one said that's Link, so maybe it's not Link.
Listeners cannot... I wish listeners were viewers so you could see Irene face. That was...
Irene was not impressed with that
Not
statement.
even remotely.
That was the biggest... that was a double eye roll in one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
All right, well...
Next.
Anyway,
I wanna push one through.
Go for it.
Splatoon. I'm gonna fucking play the hell out of that game.
Original IP.
A lot.
It's multiplayer shooter.
It's basically a deathmatch thing. You have different...
For Wii U.
The maps are pretty much the same looking.
You have paint instead of guns.
You have little super soakers shooting ink.
The paint makes you slide on it. You turn into a squid.
You turn into a squid and you can submerge yourself in the ink to restock your super soaker full of ink. And you want to douse as much of the map as you can. You want to have like more than 50% of the map doused in your ink color. You can also shoot the other kids. But you want to spray all the covered, like, the surface area with your ink color.
It looked
Are like
interesting.
graffiti fighting, but like full coverage.
Essentially, with super soakers of ink.
The interesting thing is that you can teleport, essentially, to any of your teammates on the map. So if you die, and you spawn back at your base, then there's somebody on the other thing. You just tap them on the gamepad, and you leap instantly to them.
You swim really fast in your ink. You trudge really slowly. Like, you can't swim in other people's ink. You have to, like, trudge really slowly, and people can, like, knock you then. You can throw little ink bombs.
It's interesting.
It's like a little Team Fortress.
A little bit.
But for children that I will totally play.
All right. They announced a new Star Fox. They didn't show much gameplay.
They showed blurred out gameplay from Shigeru.
Yeah, Star Fox is coming. It's very little information.
Very little.
New Star Fox is good news, right?
I heard some stuff about how they're going to try to use the gyroscope on the thing. I'm not
excited about that either. Actually, I hope that...
I'm not excited about that.
No,
I hope that
they
does
show
not go
Shigeru
through.
Miyamoto, they show him playing it, and they show him holding the gamepad up to the screen, and then they said that's going to be like your cockpit view.
Yeah.
Which, holding the gamepad up, it feels like it would get pretty tiring.
Yeah.
Only if you're not a muscles bro.
Let's just hope that that's not like required. Maybe they'll give you
muscle isolation right there.
Anyway, Star Fox. They did. What else did they show?
Smash.
Oh, Smash Brothers.
They showed more Smash, and they released fucking what's her name from Kid Icarus.
Palutena.
Palutena will be a now playable character, and the other one is Pac-Man.
They announced the name for the X game. Xenoblade Chronicles X is what they're calling it.
We'll talk about this just a little bit.
I think
and you already know my gripe with it.
I know your gripe with it.
Do you not know?
I don't know. What's your gripe?
Okay, so
that doesn't have any connection or doesn't play like Xenogears. Is your gripe?
Not
right?
Gears.
What does it?
Because nothing plays like Xenogears.
No, nothing. Well,
something. I mean, but like as you go down the line, you go further and further into. They're making this game, Phantasy Star, which. Great for some people. I hate the Phantasy Star series. That's boring as shit to me. Like I'd get through any Zelda before I ever play that game.
Sure.
Again, I played it for
Phantasy Star?
Dreamcast.
You're talking about Phantasy Star Online.
Phantasy Star Online, and I also played not Phantasy Star, but Phantasy Star Online. So it's becoming that.
You think like the aesthetics of it are looking like Phantasy Star Online?
That and a little bit of Monster Hunter, which I would probably play a little Monster Hunter before I played Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny.
From the whole tech demo they had, I was just disinterested, and I was all about this game.
The funny thing is, what you're like describing my dream game.
I know. That's the funniest thing about this. But and then you're just like,
I love Phantasy Star Online.
I'm losing interest just entropically, and
that's funny. I love Project X or Xenoblade Chronicles X. Look good, and it's exclusive to the Wii U. It's hardcore RPG.
Yeah. I don't know when we're going to mention No Man's Sky because it wasn't in any of these.
No Man's Sky is multi-platform.
That looks ridiculously good.
I can just route like.
Well, not ridiculously good. I will probably play quite a bit of it though, and if it goes to PC, you probably will too.
I just came off the Nintendo E3 wanting to play more things on that than it seems like anything else. So it's weird.
Yeah.
But.
That was just an indie one. Like, the dev came out and said, like, oh, hey, there's this game, and his No Man's Sky showed a little bit of it. It was pretty humble, and everybody was like, oh!
I gotta mention that they announced that Final Fantasy Type 0 is coming to America. Do you know about that?
No.
Type 0 is Yeah.
It's coming to America for PS4 and Xbox One on.
That was on the Lolo too.
Oh,
that
I'm
was
so happy for that.
they didn't present it or anything like that. It was on the Square Enix.
It's just Square Enix booth. They were just like, "Yo,
Yeah.
it's coming over," but it's gonna be digital only. It's not gonna be a physical release.
Yeah.
But I'm still happy about that.
That's PS4
and
and
Xbox One.
not Vita though,
No,
which
not
is
Vita.
extra weird.
You know what? It would be so perfect for
That
Vita
should
too.
go to Vita.
Yeah, but I don't know. Hey, you know what? At this point, I'm not gonna complain. I'm just gonna say I'm happy it's coming to America. Let's quickly. I'm gonna spout off
Cool.
multi-platform. What do we got?
We got
Dead Rising 3, that
Bad.
DLC. Metal Gear Solid 5, No Man's Sky, Mortal Kombat X, which is weird to calling it X. It's
Right.
from Mortal Kombat 10, fuckers.
There's an issue.
Dragon Age Inquisition, GTA 5.
The re-release.
For PS4,
Which actually makes it
and
look and run.
It looks so
significantly
good. There's
better.
a before and after picture floating around the internet.
Man, dude.
It looks so fucking good.
And it'll run. It's gonna run like just so clean. Like it runs all right now.
It runs
a
at
little
30
bit of-
frames a second on PS3. It's gonna run at 60 on PC
Yeah.
and PS4.
but it's gonna be seamless.
It's gonna be great. Batman Arkham Knight, which visually
Killer.
fucking A.
Yeah.
Visually, like visually stunning.
I feel so cheapened by this, but I saw Batman launch from the Batmobile into flight, and I was like, I'm sold. I will buy
Right.
this because I've played all the others. I like how this looks.
That was
I'll play it.
that was one of those games like last generation when I saw like Gears of War. I was like, whoa, this is next gen. Arkham Knight, like fucking A. When I
Shit's
saw that
next
shit in motion, I was like, good. This is next gen.
Right.
Um,
They go from CG straight into gameplay. You're like, that was gameplay.
yeah,
That's what gameplay looks like.
right.
This is incredible.
And then lastly with Star Wars Battlefront.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that
Oh,
insta money.
I just spoke too soon. I'm just like, well, what about the Battlefront?
Battlefront running on Frostbite 3. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Okay, so finishing up Nintendo.
Nintendo I think Nintendo had, like I said, man, they had the most games I wanted to play.
What else?
What do you mean? Oh, like the
Splatoon.
games?
Yeah, like, did you have a list of the rest of them?
I
Or?
didn't have Nintendo games, actually.
Oh, that's right, you didn't do the Nintendo games.
No.
We have to go through those. They showed Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, yeah, Hyrule Warriors. I thought that looked sweet. I
It's
don't
Dynasty
know.
Warriors with Link.
Yeah.
And they have...
It looked great, but you can play a hell of different characters.
You can
Have
play-
to be
they
like
showed you
6,000 Moblins?
They showed
or
you
what?
4, basically. Like, people are coming up, and then Hyrule soldiers go out to fight them, and then you run through as the hero and start slashing through them like in Dynasty Warriors. You can be playable Link, Impa, Midna, and Zelda?
And Zelda.
Zelda
Yeah,
Sheep?
well, that's what they showed so far, but they said there's going to be a
There
lot
will
of
be more,
characters.
yeah. So basically, in tradition of
Yoshi's-
Dynasty Warriors, you can be Lubu, this person.
Yeah, they showed Yoshi's Woolly World.
Actually,
which is a yarn-looking Yoshi game.
To
which
pull
was
this
pretty cool.
back, that looks
Yeah.
fucking beautiful. It looked
Graphically,
like what
artistically, it looked great.
Little Big Planet 3 should look like
Kinda, yeah,
by now.
yeah.
It was like the background, clean as fuck.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is the
That looks kind of fun.
Toad mini.
Toad
game.
got his own game.
Have you played Mario 3D World?
No.
This is a mini game in Mario 3D World. There's like one or two of these, one of these per world in Mario 3D World.
You have
and
a
they turned it
little
into its own game. It's like this square.
isometric.
Yeah, you can move it wherever you want, but Toad can't jump, and you have to like make him move to solve to collect all the like I think it's 5 coins or whatever.
Yeah, this is almost Solstice, but a little
Yeah, it's
less.
really cool.
You can't do as many things
You
as
have
long
like
as you
60
could.
seconds. You have like 60 seconds. And you have to maneuver him through
It's
this like
horrible.
Rubik's Cube style
It's like
puzzle.
regressive.
Yes,
It's
it looks pretty, but you can't do shit.
They're
You
making
can
it
you
its
can
own
walk
game.
and you can
Oh.
like run a little bit.
We got to point at the fucking like Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2.
Oh, round of applause.
Bayonetta
Yeah.
2 on Wii U. Oh, it's so great, so good.
There was a progression. They went from this. It was just like Bayonetta 2. I thought I would get
Yeah.
get eventually. I was like Bayonetta 2, all right. See the costumes. I'm like, this is fun. New costumes and stuff packaged with one. Is
Yeah.
that it comes with one?
Right.
I'm getting this game.
Bayonetta 2 looks phenomenal.
That was the seller.
Mario Maker, which is a design your own Mario level type game. It's like Little Big Planet.
I'm
but
not
Mario.
sold on this, but it looks fun.
Um,
That's actually, you can go, you do
Oh.
things in old Mario, so you set these things like, oh, there goes a pipe here, and you kind of like draw it on like Mario Paint. You put a pipe on, you put like these little things so you can run it, and then you make like a little hard Mario level. Then you switch it so it looks like the new Mario.
you can
just, like, pop it into
switch
new-
between the graphics. You can do
Right.
new or 8-bit. Seems kind of cool.
On the fly.
Lastly, Devil's Third was announced. You know what Devil's Third is?
Mm-mm.
Devil's Third is the Tomonobu Itagaki game that
Oh,
he's the
that's-
guy that left Team Ninja from Tecmo. He made Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden.
Mhm.
He left Tecmo, formed his own company called Valhalla.
He
He's
wasn't
been
that
working on
awesome
his-
guy in a leather jacket.
He is.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's his name?
There's
His
a
name's
lot
Tomonobu
of
Itagaki.
Tomonobu
developers that
Itagaki.
are quirky like
He always wears sunglasses. He's never seen without sunglasses
He's
on.
like a rock
He
star
rarely
over there.
talks.
A
He
lot
always
of them
wears
are like
crazy
that.
ass awesome.
That's the
leather
only
shoes.
guy I
Who's
know
the guy
that.
from Konami, the Castlevania guy?
Hideo,
that always... the
Koji
hat.
Igarashi.
Yes,
Yeah.
Igarashi. He's funny.
Koji
Oh, man.
Igarashi also dresses very eccentric. He dresses like
Yes.
he's a fucking vampire hunter.
Pretty
But
much.
He might be.
he basically is, right?
The closest we've got.
No, but Devil's
I'll
Third is
take
a
that
game
guy.
that he's been working on for ever since you left, and it was just announced that it's a Wii U exclusive, which is crazy to me. It's crazy. Bayonetta 2 exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Third exclusive. We're getting crazy Japanese-style
thought?
action, fast-paced games exclusive to Wii U.
X. Xenoblade Chronicles
And
X.
Xenoblade X, yeah, that's cool.
That's also
That's it.
exclusive.
It's
crazy.
exclusive. I know, crazy. That's
And then
that's
also
why-
the Kirby thing, the Kirby claymation.
Yeah,
whatever.
the Kirby Clay
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Not
It's
into
the
it.
same thing as the Yoshi Yarn, but instead of Yarn, they did Clay. Actually, that one's kind of cool because they did kind of what the Lego movie did, where they actually lowered the frames of animation on that to make it look like it was more.
Stop motion.
It looks really clean. I just don't want to play it.
Anyway, we maybe should move on.
We should. That
Wrap
was
this- wrap
that
this
was
guy up.
mostly E3.
Look up
as
all
you
those
can
things.
as you can hear, fairly disappointing in a lot of different
Aw.
categories,
feel
little
like-
facets. But Nintendo had a
Yeah.
pretty good showing.
Nintendo had the most stuff I wanted to play.
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft has some stuff that looks great. Just gotta give it to Nintendo.
This is mostly a retro podcast. I would say it's like we dabble in both worlds, but mostly retro. I'm actually kind of glad it's a retro
Yeah.
podcast because this year is sad for video gaming.
Well, because
2015
nothing's
maybe,
coming out.
but this year,
2015 sounds
sad.
great. 2015 sounds great. Fucking 2014 we have.
There's some shit coming in 2015.
There's not much left coming in 2014. It sounds like.
Anyways,
Let's move on.
do you know how we
quickly.
feel about E3 now? We've wasted enough time on new games that aren't coming. We're gonna move to Aaron.
Hi.
Hello.
Who'd win a fight, Aaron?
Well, I started off.
Or you ask me.
Oh well, I started off with like a little appetizer,
An appetizer?
perhaps some mushroom stuffed crab. I don't know. Who'd win a fight? A Goomba, Super Mario 64, or a mud crab, Nasty Creatures?
I don't think I know what Nasty Creatures
I was gonna
is.
say-
No,
It's
yeah.
not from Nasty Creatures. It's from the
Skyrim?
Yeah, it's from
Okay.
the Elder Scrolls games. But no, Oblivion. One of the canned lines was, "I saw a mud crab today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nasty creatures."
I heard you like mud crabs.
The Minecraft are stupid.
Mud crabs are
You know
stupid.
what? But I would give it to them because they attack.
They do
Goombas
attack.
in Mario 64, they're like, "Get him."
Oh, you know what? The
They just-
Goombas. Well, if we're talking about Goombas from like Super Mario Brothers 1,
Right.
they kill you in one hit.
They
If
touch
you're
you,
They
you
do.
die.
You touch you and they have the touch of death.
Yeah.
Depends on which Goombas I suppose we're talking about. I would still say mud crabs might be a little more. I don't know about
because in Mario
dangerous.
64, you just run up and you sock them and they blow up. Mud
But if they
crabs,
hit you, they do like two little pie
bleep, bleep,
slices
they just
of
hit-
damage.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know which one's more dangerous, but you can mod the mud crabs in Skyrim to look like Zoidberg and do the as they go away. I like that. I might give it to mud
I'm
crabs.
gonna give mud crabs for that. Zoidberg mod
Zoidberg.
wins.
What is that?
Goombas.
Okay.
Flat.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
look!
have to.
She has a
I know,
Goomba
I saw
A
bag.
Goomba
Yep.
bag.
Yeah.
They're
In
vicious.
this room, she has a Goomba bag.
Ouch! Ow! Ow! Stop it!
You're
What?
doing two
Stop
pies
here.
of damage. Why?
Two slices.
Two slice pies.
The two whole pies.
Two whole
Originally-
pies of damage on my left flank.
I wanted to think of one of the bajillion enemies from Legend of Zelda for a mud crab to fight, because I really wanted a mud crab, because they suck. I wanted them to fight something.
No,
I'm
nothing
like-
that a Goomba could hold up against.
And I'm like, what the hell is in Zelda that would fight? Because like you got like Octorocks, like spitting shit. They have a
Right.
projectile attack. That's not fair.
Yeah, they have
Like,
protection.
there's so much crap in Zelda that is
Snakes.
actually kind of.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I wouldn't fuck with anything. in
I was like,
Nah.
a Skulltula? No.
No.
It's just like.
Forget any of those lizard people or skeletons.
Stalfos.
Stalfos.
You can do Tingle.
I'm like, well, I thought that actually
I think
for
the
just a
mud crab-
moment. I'm
Mud
like,
crab
Tingle.
versus Tingle.
What about-
Tingle goes.
Tingle would
to
die.
mix it up. Tingle from Legend of Zelda, Fargoth from Morrowind. If anyone remembers Fargoth, he was the crappy elf when you first get off the boat who lost his ring.
Oh.
Not a lot of people remember
Other
Fargoth.
guy,
but you
I
should.
didn't play Morrowind.
Because Tingle would. Yeah, I give it to
Yeah.
Fargoth. Fargoth
Yeah.
might get
I
sad
did the Fargoth
about his
just
ring, but he could
Tingle's
get
an
angry
idiot.
about it.
I
and
never
stuff, yeah.
liked Tingle for any reason. I
No
saw
reason. There is no reason.
Every
to like
time Tingle was involved, it was just an annoyance.
Like, fuck this
Okay,
guy.
well- That was the appetizer.
What's the
The actual
main
fight,
event?
and
What's
again,
the
I was
main
hoping that I
course?
didn't
Let's eat this.
completely misremember the power ranking of somebody, so I go like, well, whatever. So I want to do some swordsmen. So, what about Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes
Yeah.
against Yoshimitsu from like all the
Anything.
Tekken and Soul Calibur shit he's been in? He has a habit of punching you instead of cutting you with his blade like he should be doing.
Yoshititsu.
But and he's a tricksy
Yoshi.
fucker. But
Shitsu.
Travis Touchdown has a beam saber. There's that going.
And
for
he
him.
He has a beam
defeats
saber.
some really mean looking dudes.
He has a
Like,
beam saber, but his beam saber is like the jankiest beam saber
Yeah,
ever.
it's not like
It's like a
no.
fluorescent light from the.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, what I imagine him carrying,
And-
he's got like that chamber for it, and then just like a
Mhm.
phosphorescent
And
halogen
then
light thing. Just like,
depending on what
how does that
Yoshi-
not break?
Depending on what Yoshimitsu we're talking about, Yoshimitsu has an energy sword too. In Tekken 5, he has an energy sword.
You've chosen wisely. Yoshimitsu has some fucking tricks up his
Yoshimitsu-
sleeve. He like does that little spin around and turns into a log at some point in time.
He
Like,
teleports. That's ninja
fuck.
teleport. They log things in ninja staple.
I give it to Yoshimitsu. That guy's fucking dangerous.
Yoshimitsu
He's got tricks
is
for days.
gotta be, to me, is the clear winner because he's got
You were
combos
just
for
saying
days.
it's a good one, but Yoshimitsu wins by a landslide.
I just said that.
He's
Yeah,
got unblockables
never
in
mind.
Soul Calibur. He's got seppuku. He's got
Fucking
He does. He impales himself
He can
through him. Like he hurts you by killing himself.
He can teleport. Travis Touchdown is just a guy. Yoshimitsu is a fucking like entity.
Does Travis Touchdown do pogo sticks on his
Travis Touchdown's
on
awesome.
his sword?
He's not pogo stick. He will call out moves like strawberry on the shortcake, and then he will walk around and shoot lasers out of his beam saber, which cut people in half.
Yeah.
He does save his
Or
game by shitting.
Travis Touchdown is a great character. Travis Touchdown has a fucking awesome motorcycle.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's straight accurate.
Yoshimitsu's got no such thing, but he does have a banner. He's like repping where he's from.
I like Travis Touchdown a lot, but I think that the people he's fighting aren't on the same level as the Tekken or Soul Calibur combatants.
You don't think so?
That Yoshimitsu fights on a daily basis.
Interesting. I guess
On a daily
some of his
basis.
bosses are kind of rough. Like not the first couple
There's
bosses.
nobody in any No More Heroes that could beat any of the Tekken characters.
but that could beat Keelik.
So this, I
Yeah,
would say
or
No More
Siegfried.
Heroes, but this guy that's from it, what
Yeah.
does he do for a living?
He is a bounty hunter.
Yeah, essentially,
Okay.
he's going up through like the ranks of a contest to see who he can beat for money.
Kill.
He bought a beam saber
I
on
guess
the
they kill
internet,
him.
Yeah.
and now he's trying to be the #1 ranked assassin by killing all the other assassins. For some reason, this pays you money, and then people will try to kill you. I don't know why.
Yoshimitsu is
Gold,
some
exactly.
mysterious
It's like
chode god
Afro
in a
Samurai.
mask,
he
like
wants
a
to be
no
number one.
mask or something like that.
Kind of a no.
He's
It's an interesting.
cool.
It's very quirky.
Or an
it's
Oni
it's-
mask,
it's
really, I
funny,
guess.
It's lighthearted, but the
Probably.
action's
It
very
has, like, the-
hardcore.
There's like that in one
The
of them. One
outside
of them, he's
teeth
got
that
like
come
a
out,
face
he's-
with two other faces. One time he's got a skull. He's
Very
all
Oni
over
mask.
the
Yeah,
place.
he does. Was there one game in which he had like the forehead turning thing
Yeah.
around? That was cool.
Yeah, he's also an insect in one of them.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, he looks like an insect, and he has wings that come out and help him fly too.
I agree by you calling him an entity. He's pretty much a shifting
immortal.
force of swords.
He's
His
not even a
name is
person.
Yoshimitsu.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't have a last name. He
No.
doesn't have an everyman's name like this other guy, Travis or
No,
whatever
just
his name
Travis
is.
Pastrana.
Travis
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Travis
Well,
Pastrana,
that's
who
it.
married Pink.
It's a
Travis.
It's a
Travis.
That's why it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Yoshimitsu's kind of like, Cher or Madonna. Like, you don't need a last name. You know who fucking Yoshimitsu is.
Right, he's a legend.
So, yes.
He goes across Soul Calibur and Tekken. He's immortal.
He's in more than one fighting game.
It's basically like putting a bunch of people like Josh, Larry, Matt inside of a video game, and you're like, Loki! You put Loki in the game, and he's just like, guess what? I have powers!
Kinda.
Other people are good fighters, he has godlike powers.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
Mhm.
much. And that's like his whole thing is like, he just fights all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas maybe
Sword,
another
other
guy,
stuff.
maybe he hasn't been training his whole life to fight.
Doesn't seem like it, actually. He bought an internet
That's what
saver
I'm saying.
Yeah.
and then just started trying to kill people.
Well, he
Which
started
is
succeeding to kill people.
not very honorable at all.
There's some bizarre
Depending on how good
bosses
you are
in
at the
that
game.
one. Like, I think the second boss in the first game is just like a country western singing dude with a revolver who you fight on a baseball diamond.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a hard fight actually.
Yeah, you have to like get ready and like hit
It's-
the bullet bag or
yeah,
something.
it's
It's some
tiny,
crazy shit
yeah.
going on. He
So
fights a
difficult.
Golo, like a gothic Lolita, like sniper with a scythe sniper rifle or
Right.
something.
It's a great,
some
it's a really good
bizarre
game, and it's very unique. I really like
Yeah.
No More Heroes, but he
Sounds
won't
good.
beat Yoshimitsu.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Can't beat him.
Okay.
You can't beat him.
Alright.
I really want to put Malo or Gino against somebody, like really badly.
Well, next episode,
Damn it.
Malo or Gino versus.
We have to figure out who to put them against by the next episode.
Characters from Septerra
Yeah?
I don't know.
I haven't played through Septerra. That's on my backlog. I don't know
I
them.
don't know if people will get the.
Alright.
Everybody listening, play Septerra Core. Come through.
Malo and Gino against Ian and Tycho from Fallout.
Yeah?
They would be shot to death, probably.
Versus
Ian
Falco
would shoot Tycho in the
and
back
Slippy.
and kill him on accident, and then the other two would murder.
He's a clear winner.
Yeah.
That pair.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Because if you put Falco and Slippy
Hey, wise guy.
on the ground, hey, wise guy, I know your parents. That's not what he says.
Whoops. Coming more like your father.
Every day. If you put Falco and Slippy on the ground, clearly Gino and Malo win it. If you put them in our wings, I think
Well,
a little
Falco, we know how Falco fights from Smash Brothers, and it depends on
horribly.
the content, like the style of battle. Are we talking turn-based RPG battle?
I don't know, because if you put Gino in like a real world realm, that guy's fucking dangerous. Like fucking cannons and stuff.
Yeah.
He just starts. His body is a puppet weapon.
Yeah.
A puppety weapon.
And you put Malo.
Guns everywhere.
I just feel like Malo's punches aren't really gonna hurt.
No, but he
Why
starts
don't you
doing some
like-
cool shit, like his little cloud
Yeah,
powers. He
I
becomes
know.
a weight and goes,
That's
like,
true.
just starts killing people,
So
and
it's just a Kirby.
he heals himself
He's Kirby.
and others.
Like, inexplicably, I've gained weight.
All right.
Okay,
Was that our dessert for
Yoshimitsu.
this?
Yoshimitsu.
So there's that.
All
Our
right.
dessert is a marshmallow guy.
Yoshimitsu all over the place.
I do decree it.
That concludes our show. I do decree it. Hashtag I do decree it. We should hashtag this and be like, if you
Just
hashtag I do decree it, it sends you to like our website or something,
There you
which
go.
is Facebook. So fuck that.
or Twitter.
Or Twitter.
So it'd just be like.
Or on our,
cyclical.
I guess we're on Fistful of Potions' website, so it could send them to our page on fistfulofpotions.com.
Yeah.
Hashtag, well, we know how to work on this, so by the time people hear it, they can do it. But hashtag, I do decree it.
Decree it.
That's a new thing.
Also hashtag Ice Taco.
Hashtag
I-
Ice Taco.
That
I really
needs
like
to
that
be
one.
a thing.
Or a T-shirt that we make that's got like a taco and it's just frigid. It has this rhyme of ice,
Mhm.
like it's like in a block of ice.
It should
Yeah, I
be
imagine
it
it's
should
straight
be
up
the
ENA
Final
block.
Fantasy
Yes.
like magic selection. Maybe Shiva with a puzzled look, and there's like and then the white hand pointing to the
Just-
Ice Taco. Level 3. She's like, what the fuck?
Or that's your thing is like for you have whatever summons Ifrit, whatever summons Ramu, and then like an ice taco is
Ramen.
Ramu.
Ramu. What do you call him? Rima?
Rama.
I call
Rama,
him Rama.
that's right, Rama.
As a kid, Ramu, but I'm like, wait a minute.
Rama.
Where's Ramu? How do you get
I
Ramu?
became more
Yeah.
cultured as I
R-A-M-U-H,
aged.
Ramu?
I just N-U-H is. You think that's
Moo?
moo?
Rama.
It could be.
It could be.
It
It
could
also
be.
could be Shokobo or whatever you call it.
Shoko.
No, Kokobo.
I'm like,
Shokobo is what you call it.
No,
Chocobo.
Chocobo. But it's Chocobo.
Chocobo sounds like the last name of an NSYNC
There are
person.
some people that call it Chocobo.
Lance Chocobo.
No, that's Lance Bass, okay? Wait, is it Bass?
I have no
Joey Fat One?
idea.
Joey's bad lip.
Let's move on.
Faytown.
And
Anyways, thank you to everybody listening. Holy God, if you've made it this far, I think this is
2.5 hours
our
now.
longest episode ever.
Say
No, we
that
started
every
at 8.
time.
We're
Well,
2.5 hours.
we might edit out, like, I don't know, everything I
An
said.
hour.
We might. That's
You know.
We spent like it was 50% arcade and then 50% E3.
yeah.
And
What
then
else was main
5%
event?
everything else.
By the time everybody listens to this, it's gonna be like 2 minutes E3,
Probably
85 minutes arcade. I'm gonna add shit in. Just
Yeah. And
do my
then-
best impersonation. Of it. I don't know. I was in San Diego and I really like this thing. Oh yeah, I was in San Diego one time and I like this arcade. Oh, me too, guys. I really like that arcade a lot. I wasn't there in San Diego, but I would have been.
Chris will be
I'm gonna
like,
add
you know
shit
what my
in."
favorite games in the arcade were, and then just cut straight to him listing off upcoming exclusives for the like Wii U. He'll be like, Bayonetta 2,
Yeah.
one of my favorite games from the arcade.
5 best arcade games. Bayonetta
Thailand,
2,
Thailand, Thailand, and Thailand. On fire.
On fire.
On
He
fire.
Spits that hot.
5-star reviews, iTunes, Facebook,
Ice
Twitter, we're everywhere. Ice Taco, Ice Tunes.
Wait, did we get all of our inside jokes or recurring jokes out this time?
No.
What are we missing?
We don't have a first.
Chocolate starfish!
damn it. Bye, Irene.
Someone
Almost.
decreed it.
Almost. We almost made
Wait,
it.
who decreed it?
I mentioned it like 3 times.
Did
but-
you?
Ben said I do decree.
You
it.
mentioned
That's where
chocolate
the
starfish
hashtag came from.
earlier.
Well, I mentioned Fred Durst a couple times.
God damn
That's so
Blocked
good.
You're
I'm
like,
so sorry.
it. Fred
I'm
Durst.
special. Mark Dacascos.
Worst.
We didn't talk about Mark Dacascos. We didn't talk about Leroy or Waylon Williams.
Waylon
We didn't
Williams.
talk about-
So
that's
people
all
knocked
right.
that first episode. There was some golden shit inside
Yeah.
that. That was a nugget of poop.
Who's knocking the first episode?
The public.
Beat
Well,
them up.
episode 0.
Episode
Yeah.
0. Type 0.
Yeah. Ooh, type 0.
MultiTap Type 0. That
Nation
was
Zero.
Nipple twist on that
straight clamps.
one. Yep.
Anyways, all that stuff. Share, comment, question.
iTunes.
Actually, sharing is cool. Comment in because I have fun with
We
the
had a great
listener
time with
mail
comments.
so much.
Yeah, the write-ins were great. Please keep the write-ins coming.
I wish that were like 30% of the
Share is
episode.
cool.
What do you guys
Madonna,
think?
but
I like
Yoshimitsu
talking about it.
is really my favorite artist.
Yeah.
Exactly. I bought all of his albums. Yeah.
I like when he did his solo stuff way better than when he was with Tech and...
Screaming Pogo Seppuku, Volume 1. One of my favorites.
Anyways, yeah, that's the end of the show.
Thanks for listening. Tune
Thank
in
you.
Next
Tune in-
week. In 2 weeks.
Next,
Episode 8.
Tune in
The
eventually.
return of trivia.
the return of
Yay.
trivia.
I do decree it.
Ice Taco.
Yay. Mark DeCosta.
Mark Dacascos.
Thus concludes the MultiTap broadcast. Gramercy to every listener, and many welcome returns. If so led, the hosts encourage 5-star ratings and reviews on iTunes. If you should like to contact the hosts of MultiTap, or give general public comment, they may be reached by way of Facebook at MultiTap Podcast, Twitter at MultiTap Podcast, or personal phone number, which they wisely refuse to give publicly. MultiTap is made possible in part by a fistful of potions and viewers like you. We shall return, as scheduled, in MultiTap Theatre.